Oh, good. Let's get the spy music off and fucking. I can join, right?
There you go.
Oh.
Yo. Oh.
Oh, wait. Not that one. That. Oh, I gotta adjust you a little bit. Oh, no, you're good. You're good. Okay. Ryan Hunter. Literally shining.
Yeah. Should I turn the light off? I don't know which is better. I don't know if the fully dark room is better or I don't know
like
why
this room.
it turns everything like orange. I don't know.
Yeah, I like.
You look like the sun right now. It's amazing.
This is how the sun looks up close. He's actually Ryan Hunter.
It's actually just Ryan
He's
Hunter.
actually a walking option select. It's actually pretty scary. Dude. The sun OSing for you, bro.
The sun is OSing for you. I told you before, dude. The dark Ryan Hunter, it suits you. It's edgy like Guilty Gear. Right now you're Blaze Blue.
All right.
You gotta be edgy like Guilty Gear. There you go. And an Illuminati shirt too.
This is the mad scientist. This is the mad. Yeah. I was like, what shirt should I wear? Who do I want to promote? I was like, I don't know. This is an anime stream, right? Got to be anime Illuminati.
Yeah.
Yep. I respect.
We are good. What's going on? The legend.
I don't know about that.
Legend himself, bro. It's a walking legend himself.
Ryan Hunter.
You know what you were just talking about not being able to watch your losses.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing with that is I've never had a problem with that, except for the first time recently. I still have not watched the match. I was so disappointed with my loss, and I after I walked away, I got off the stage and I was just like, what did I even just do? Because it was my match with Kami at CEO Otaku just like a few months ago for top 8. Because okay, so I met him for the first time. Like obviously we'd spoken online and stuff, right? And you know, that's cool. And then he like came up to me, introduced himself, and we played some casuals like the first night. And he did not do well in casuals. I was mopping him up. And so when I found out I had to play him for top 8. In my mind, I was already like, I'm in. That's it. I'm good. He beat me like maybe like 20% of our casual games. I was like, just gonna mop him up, and that's it. So we start playing, and I get it in my head like I'm just gonna like run him over, like because it was just so bad in casuals. I'm like, I'm like playing like way over aggressive and like. Doing things that I know are not right, but I'm just like in my mind, I'm like, oh, I just do whatever I want. I'm just gonna win anyway. And I was just like mashing in his block strings and just like doing like really stupid stuff. And so he wins. I'm pretty sure he like wins the first game, and then I'm like, all right. Maybe I need to like actually play the match. and then I just lost anyway, and I was just like so disappointed. I was like, what did I just do? Like, like, not to take anything away from him because he played really well all weekend, but I was like, I don't know. I felt like I just like lost to myself.
Yeah, I mean, and that's okay. That's nothing wrong in my opinion. Like, if you could just acknowledge that, man, like, I was just playing and I was playing so bad to the point where like I was the person who I lost to. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that, but you know. And I think as a good player to acknowledge that it's like really good.
Yeah, but I don't know. I agree with like there's nothing wrong with that, but it was just the most disappointing loss that I've had in a long time. Like it was extra disappointing because I don't know. Like number one, because I felt like I should have won. Like should have in quotes, obviously. Like I felt like based on the casuals and just like I feel like I must know that matchup better than him. I know the game better than him, like just to some degree. He knows a lot of stuff I don't though, but I don't know. I don't know. I was so disappointed. So I haven't been able to go back and watch it. I watched all the other matches. I rewatched from that tournament, everything. I watched my match with Fu. I definitely rewatched the match with KB because that match was great. But yeah, I
get you.
Did you beat Fu?
No, I lost to Fu. I lost to Fu. I was in winners top 16, so I had to play Fu in winners, and that was a winning in for top 8. And then I lost, and then I had to play Kami, and that was a winning in for top 8 losers, and I lost that too.
That's one of the worst. That's one of the worst. I feel you, dude. I've had that happen before. Where you have like that really good positioning, and then you just drop, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah, so that was also on top of like, so it's like not only did I like lose in the worst way possible, in my opinion, that to me is just the worst. But then it was also like I lost 2 matches for top 8 back to back after playing so well all the way to get there.
Man, like, welcome to my world, bro. I had to fight Taka, and then in losers I had to fight Kadako, and I was like, this is ridiculous. And then I had to get with Kadako, but I dropped my like round winning, like momentum shifting match, and I was so heartbroken.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure everybody was pretty heartbroken in that tournament. Like,
yeah, that was a rough one. That was
I feel like top 24 was like pretty tough for everyone. I feel.
Yeah,
because it was a lot of upsets in pools. So like top 24 was like way more stacked than like usual, right?
Yeah.
So like, Hamad lost to Sweet Jam, so like Hamad was like in top 24 losers, so he had to play in top 24 losers from there, and other players and stuff like that. So it was just really stacked from there.
Yeah, I mean that tournament in general was just obviously ridiculously stacked.
Yeah, it was rough. Yeah. It was rough. I get you. I got you a lot, dude. Like I was saying before, like I used to not be able to watch losses for like months, just months. I was really spoiled. Like the first time when I lost to Spark, it was something like you, right? Like I blew his back out the day before, and when I had to, seriously, this is a true story. I blew his back. I bodied him. I went into a room. You can ask Nakio. I went into a room with all the Washington players. I played all of them, and I beat everybody. And I was like, I'm gonna win this fucking tournament. I'm gonna win this tournament. I got all the way to end. I beat Tokido, and I was like, okay, all I gotta do is beat Harnana. That's gonna be like the struggle. Like Harnana's here. Spark beats Harnana. I'm like, I fucking won the tournament. That's it. Champ.
It's the trap.
It's the fucking trap. It's the trap. It was so hard. Today it's hard to watch. Today's hard to watch.
You know what it is? I think it's because you feel like you've already won in your head.
Yeah, that's why you can't do that. When you said you were like, I had him, I was like, I fucking know what this is gonna turn into. I knew immediately. It's really bad. It's sobering.
Your mind is your worst enemy, dude.
Yeah. Everyone has that kind of thing.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess one thing we could say now is like we matured enough to like kind of like understand that a mindset don't always work every time. You know what I mean? Everybody has like a little reality check. Sometimes I get reality checked too. So I guess it's really good that we're able to acknowledge that. But some people are like trapped in like a dimension where they can't even see what's going on.
Oh yeah.
And that's the worst feeling.
There's a lot of those people.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. You're onto something, Ryan.
Here's a question for you, Ryan. Who's your FGC dad? I think everyone wants to know who's your FGC dad.
My FGC dad?
Yeah.
I don't know that I would say dad, cause like
dad. I asked dad. It has to be dad. Who's dad?
Dude.
Dad.
Who is dad? Who do you run to and like, yo, dad? Yo, dad. Hey, yo, dad.
I don't have anybody like that. I have some like FGC
children,
like cousins, and I have a lot of children.
No,
okay. You must have a father. I'm sure you spread your seed very far, but you must have a father. A parental figure.
If I have to pick someone, it would probably be Flash Metroid, actually.
Woo! That's a spicy one.
Because really unique.
When I started, like a billion years ago, he was like the first player that had already been playing for like a long time that I like started playing with, and he taught me a lot. And it's actually funny because I know like a lot of people have their thing with him or whatever. He's very
opinionated.
Yeah.
He's
very polarizing. A lot of people hate him and a lot of people like him. So that's
no in between for him.
Yeah. Teach their own, but like there's a lot of lessons that it's actually really funny. Maybe we could talk about this too. Is that like so back like when I first started, like easily over 10 years ago, I started playing seriously in accent core. Like I had played like Reload and Slash, but I was in school then. I didn't have people to play, whatever.
Right.
So like accent core, I was like back like in Miami. I was like, okay, I'm gonna play, and I used to travel like at least once or twice a week. I'd drive an hour down for casuals, and we played for like 12 hours straight. It was like me, Flash Metroid, a lot of the like old school Miami people. I don't know if you guys know like Makubex and Dark Honor 90, like super old school.
Yeah.
So, and the Shin Twins, because shout out to them because that's whose house we used to go to. But so, like I like was not a good enough fighting game player to like get good at that time. Like I thought I understood what I should be doing, but I did not understand fighting games well enough to like I just wasn't good enough as a player.
Right.
And so he would try to like Peter would try to like teach me things and like explain things to me, but he's a feeling based player, so it's hard for him to like verbalize and like explain what he's trying to express. But he would try, and he knew that I was like receptive, so he would like keep trying to help me, but I just like didn't get it. And now like looking back, the things that he was trying to teach me, I've now learned for myself, and I was like, oh my god, this is what he was trying to express.
Yeah.
And he just like, and I just like, I wasn't good enough to understand it, and he's like not the kind of person that could like verbalize it. But it was like things like just like okay, I would knock somebody down, I would just do like my one best mix-up every time that has like two, it's like a 50-50, and it's like, why would I do anything else? It's like my best mix-up. He's like, yeah, but like if you do other things, all the options get better the more options you do, right? Because you have more options.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
But I couldn't comprehend that back then. I was just like, no, I'm just gonna do my best mix-up. All I need is one mix-up, and it's the best one, and it has the best chance of working. And what do I need any more than that? So it's like things like that. I was just like, couldn't understand. So
Flash Metro, that's a spicy one. That's a spicy one. I'm about to start a document and list everyone's
That's
parents.
actually not a bad. That's actually not bad though. Like
no, that's not bad.
Yeah, that's just interesting that it's Flash.
Yeah. Like when I first started playing fighting games before Guilty Gear even, the first fighting game I really started like understanding that there was even a competitive scene for was CVS 2, and it was already like pretty far into the like lifespan of that game. And it's funny actually, I met Flash before fighting games. I knew him from a completely different game that we can talk about if you want because it's awesome. But
what game is it?
The Grid. You probably never heard of it.
I never heard of it.
It was made by Midway right before they closed their arcade division, so only like a few major cities got it, and then they stopped making them. But it's an awesome game. It's got Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and Noob Saibot in it as like special characters you can unlock.
Wait,
even back in the day, they were doing that shit.
Yeah. It was a sick game. We can talk about it more if you want, but the point I was making is that I met him through that. And then we became like really friendly, and we would like talk a lot about the Grid. And then when I started playing CVS 2, we like went down to his arcade in Miami to play the Grid. And at that time, he was already playing MVC 2 and CVS 2. And I was like, oh, you play this too? And that's how we like became friends. And then I like used to go to his house, and we played CVS 2 and stuff, and he like taught me a lot about that game. So yeah.
I'm about to like put a document together of everyone's parents. So far.
While
it's still early.
An FGC family tree, that'd be sick.
While it's still early.
We need to get a family reunion going.
Because I think so. Kizzy, you said it was Super Effects, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, Super Effects. Zidane said it was Frequency. That's a name not that many people know. Yeah, SKD said it was me, and then I said it was Mewtwo King. Are we missing somebody? SKD said it was me. SKD said it was me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
we're missing
Hell Pockets. Hell Pockets had he said a name too. I'd have to watch the episode.
Yeah.
He said a specific name. That would be a pretty convoluted family tree. It's possible to make.
I remember the explanation. He said
Hans, right?
Yeah.
That would be something nice after we did like 50 to just like post that somewhere. Like, oh, this is like FGC family.
These are the dads, and then the dads get together and talk about themselves. There's something.
You said you had a lot of children running through.
I especially in the last in the last like couple of years, like last year or so, I've adopted a lot of kids.
I get you. I'm on the same page. I'm on the same page.
Look at the fathers, man. Meanwhile, I'm out here. Dude, just bunny hopping, dude.
What happened in Florida since like sign? I guess you got like Hotashi, for example.
Yeah, I was just gonna say somebody tweeted about this like a few weeks ago.
That was me.
And they were like, "Was it you?" And they were, yeah, you were like, "Who's your FTC dad?" And Hotashi tweeted Ryan Hunter, and I replied, and I was like, "You're adopted, dude."
Oh shit!
He's just like, he was just like sad face.
This is crazy, but I mean, I think one of the things that is very unique about like being a dad, it's like you could pick and choose who you're proud of, right? And it's like you have the options of like, yeah, these are my successful sons, and you show them the trophies and stuff like that. Meanwhile, we got the adopted children, who was a real children, but you know, after that, you know, they did some things and now they're adopted.
Yeah, you had to disown them and then re-adopt them.
Oh yeah, that's really dope.
Yeah, talking about like really old FGC though, I like it when like we got like super old school people, because if you're talking like CVS2 and stuff, that's like before me technically. So like I started in 07 or something. I never played CVS2. I just saw people playing CVS2 when I was playing like Melty Butt in the corner. That's like deep history.
You guys had a corner back then? Damn.
Well, we specifically in New Jersey, we had a venue, but it was like 5 people in the venue. It was an hour and a half away from my house, and I went like twice. I remember I played Master Chibi. That's a name. I don't know if you know who that is.
Yeah, I know
but
that. Yeah,
I
never met him, but I know the name.
I played him, and I was like still playing Smash. So he's like the first person I played in Melty Blood in person with. I was like, dude, you have to be like the best Hisui in America. Like, you're so fucking good. And he was like, wow, thanks. And we just like played for a while.
Damn, man.
They had like third strike over there with a bunch of people playing like deep FGC, like 2004 to like 2008 or so. It's kind of hazy. That's
I mean, those were dark. Those were dark times.
Yeah, those was like the midnight.
People don't know. Like, well, first of all, it's worth mentioning on this topic because it still like blows my mind. Do you realize now, like, we used to call the Street Fighter 4 players 09ers.
Yeah.
You realize it's been 8 years?
It's been a long time.
Are they OGs now?
No. Exactly. That's the question, right?
In your eyes?
Because in my eyes, no, they can't be OGs.
They can't. He said they can't.
But in a Street Fighter 5, you know, a 16er, they're OG for sure. They're OG.
Bro, play Street Fighter 4.
Real talk, 16ers are actually the new fire, dude.
I don't know. I mean, well, are we talking about, because when I say 16er, I feel like it's implied that I'm talking about Street Fighter 5, but then I just thought about it and I realized I guess that's not implied, because if we're talking about like 16ers as in like the real recent players in the anime community, they are legit. Like, all the new players are like super good. Like, again, talking about like Kami, dude, he came out of nowhere, been playing for like a year, and he's got like...
Yeah, he came from Street Fighter. He came from Street Fighter 4.
Yeah, he came from Street Fighter.
Yeah, he played Street Fighter 4. He came from that.
Yeah,
there are a bunch of people who are like, I guess, because there's 2 ways to look at 16er, right? There's actual people who started in with Street Fighter 5 and that era, and also the other perspective of this person is blowing up now. There's both. Right. One is like a positive connotation. One is like, right?
Yeah.
Mostly we use 16ers for like new people though, like outright new people, not like breakouts, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
Yeah. I who else is a 16er in anime?
I guess for Guilty Gear it'd be anyone who started in Sign, right?
Yeah,
right?
I guess.
Sign
I guess that's me, right?
No, but not like. But you didn't. You were playing something else before Sign.
That was true.
Yeah, I mean like because
like, you're talking about
you
like,
could do the same
like
thing with me, right? Like wow, I started Guilty Gear X or Sign. Cool. Just ignore delete everything before that. You can't do that.
Didn't Vokun play Rev, right? So
I think Vokun started probably with Rev.
But he started from like real time strategy.
So.
Well, I'm assuming everybody started from like some other game.
That's true.
That's true.
Yeah,
I mean,
Fresh fresh out of fighting games. I think Rev was his first fighting game. So I guess he.
That's the definition I like to use too. It's like fresh out the gates for fighting games.
Yeah, fresh out. He's a 16.
Yeah.
It's
maybe a mildly hot take. It's not as hard to get good today as it was before.
Man, who you telling, bro? Because GameFAQs was your tech.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's so much info.
People, there's still that stigma of like, oh, Guilty Gear, it's so far behind. It's just like so complicated, and they've been playing for so long. I could never. And that's why I love players like Kami and like there's like a few more that are escaping my mind now. But it's like people who just started playing a year ago and they're top 16, top 8 consistently. It's like you have no excuse. Look at this guy right here, standing right next to me. It's like,
yeah. We're in the age of streams. I feel like with streams and stuff, like it's just there's so much if you could digest it.
Twitter videos.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. YouTube,
Discord. You just like 4 a.m. You have a question. You go into Discord. Somebody's gonna answer you. They might not have the right answer, but at least there's somebody to talk to. Just having somebody to talk to about your characters or a matchup or whatever. It's like you didn't have that back then. So we started talking about the dark ages. 07, 08. A lot of people I don't think realize. Probably like a lot of people that are watching this, like there was no YouTube. There was no streaming. It's like you know what my day consisted of back then. Like in those times, like 2005, 2006, 2007, I was like just finishing school. I would wake up in the morning. I'd go to this website called keepvids.com. No, not KeepVids. Video Opera.
Oh, I remember. Oh my god, why do I remember that?
Okay, so for you new players that started, after YouTube, this was our version of YouTube. It was some guy who, out of the goodness of his hearts, would amalgamate all the new videos that came out. He would literally scour the internet. He knew like all the hot sites that like people would post videos. Like there were people like Japanese players that would post tech and match videos to their personal blogs. He would just every day go through all the blogs and all the like places, and then put all the links onto his site. So you only had to go to one place to download all the day's videos. So you'd go to Video Opera, and you click on the day's matches. You download them to your computer and watch the matches for the day, and that was it. There was no,
I remember
there was no YouTube. There was no Keep on Rockin' database. Nothing like that. So
yeah, Twitch was the game changer. Like I was literally saying this before. I was literally saying this before, so Saturday, like I went to a tournament Saturday, I played casuals and I streamed casuals, and I was like watching my casuals, and I was like, oh yeah, like especially when I started, because I started like 07, right? Finding matches of casuals were so fucking hard, because that you can learn so much from watching casuals, as opposed to like tournament is good obviously, but like you're like, I like the way this player plays, or this player is the best player of my character, and here's fucking 3 hours of him playing just random people. As opposed to like the one match where you get one match of his, and then he fucking loses, and there goes your boy, and he's just gone. And like you're like, wow, I'm crying.
I think the craziest part was I remember there was a time where people had VHS of matches. I think that was crazy. That was crazy.
Got to talk about what's his name? Was it Zach D? The Marvel 2? He like carried Marvel 2 on his back with his website. He would, again, I'm explaining this for the benefit of the newer school players that have no idea what I'm talking about right now. He would literally go to every Marvel 2 tournament. He would travel with a camera and a tripod and record matches the entire time.
Is he the source of Shaky Cam? He's the first.
He's like legit. Like I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. Like when I used to watch match videos back then, that was like the only shaky cam. But it wasn't shaky because it was a tripod. But it was like and he would what's the word? He would like archive every match. Like the match would start, and you'd see the frame of the TV and everything, and he would say who's playing, because otherwise you have no idea who's playing. There's no overlays, none of that. We didn't have that. And you're just looking at the back of two guys' heads and with a TV screen in between. So he would say who's playing, and then he would upload. He would go back, and at that time also you have to realize like bandwidth was like different. Like there was like less bandwidth just going around, and also storage, online storage was like expensive.
Yeah.
But he had like, I think he had like an Apple Drive or like he had some kind of like mass storage, and he just put everything up. And I think his website is still up, legit, like to this day.
That would be next level.
Go to ZachD.com. ZachD.com, and you will tell immediately how old this website is just by looking at it.
God, that's ridiculous.
Zach D.
At ShakyCam.
I definitely spelled it wrong.
At ShakeNet.com.
Someone find.
I'm trying to find. Did he take the videos down? Because you would go to like MVC2 videos. It would just be literally it was just like a list of URLs to videos that you could download. Did he take them down? Or did he move them?
Oof. Yeah, apparently he has his own YouTube account now. But Jesus, it's old. ZachD.com.
It says this site contains well over 500 gigs of match videos, combo videos from around the world.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, here it is. So, are you still on the site?
Yep.
Go to MVC2 archives.
Oh, I found it.
And then there's a match videos link. And then there's subdirectories.
So old.
I mean, this is just
original.
Yipes versus Justin from 2010.
Woo.
Marvel 2.
Woo.
From NEC 6.
No, like, that's a short number, dude.
Yeah, run double digits.
Single digits.
Yeah, it was a single digit tournament.
He's got all the way back to NEC 4. He's got winners finals of NEC 4, Justin versus Sanford. Oh, like this guy is legendary.
Yeah, it was different times where this is not fighting games related, but like when I was playing Melee, like we used to use this program. I forget what the program was called, but like you could upload videos to the program, but people had to like either use VHS recorders or like one year for Christmas I asked for a DVD-R recorder so I could buy blank DVDs and record people playing at my house so I could upload it to the save for people to watch.
I used to do that too. I used to use those CDs for that and other things. But
and other things, right, Kizzy?
Yeah. You know, shout out to LimeWire. Shout out to LimeWire, dude.
Yeah,
I did that too. That's actually like part of how I started streaming. Was I bought like a $50, what was it called? The little white capture card.
Yeah, I remember.
Best Buy. And hooked it up to my computer, recorded casuals, uploaded them to YouTube.
Yeah, that's mad funny that we all like kind of did the same thing.
Yeah. So like, talk to me about commentary a little bit. What's good with that? You play tournaments and do commentary, which is something I cannot do. I've tried doing it a couple times.
Yeah, I don't know how you do that. I always wanted to ask too.
Can't do it.
Well, okay, so the first thing that comes to mind when you say that is sometimes it's hard.
Yeah.
In the sense, not in the sense that you probably think I'm gonna say though. The hardest, I have no problem splitting my time as far as like I don't feel like it affects my tournament performance at all. I don't think it detracts. If I thought that it did, I wouldn't do it because I'm definitely like a competitor first. But the way that it's hard is when I'm committed to a commentary block after I've just played and I lose, and it's like the last thing I want to do right now is commentate somebody else's matches. Just like I just want to like go to my room, eat something, and just like think about something else right now. And it's like there have been times when I'm like, it's not so much at majors because I don't know, the environment is different, I guess, but at locals especially, it just happened to me on this last Friday. We had locals and I lost, and so I could have commentated like the last couple of matches. And I was just like, I'm not doing that.
Nope.
I'm not doing that. I'm done. And I literally, as a matter of fact, I put my stick in my car and I didn't play for the rest of the night because I was not happy.
The tilt.
Yeah.
I get you.
tilt.
Yeah.
Don't tilt. Don't
I
tilt.
get you. I get you.
I'm not tilted. It's just like
Yeah, I know.
not happy.
Not
So
happy.
that to me is like the hardest aspect of it, and that's the part that always like concerns me is like, am I gonna like not feel like doing this commentary block? But at majors, I never really feel that. So and if I do, it's very mild, and within 10 or 15 minutes, I'm over it again. So.
That's good. I always felt like it would be like a. Like personally, I feel like it's a huge distraction for me, especially when you have the thing where like I was actually going in on commentary for a while. I don't know if you remember, but I was like going in on commentary. I was doing a lot of commentary. But then this thing kept happening where they're like, okay, we'll take you, but if you get top 8, we need to get someone else. So can you find someone else? Or like they got to plan a backup, and I'm like, I don't even want to think about any of this shit. Like I just want to do my thing and then go away and be salty if I lost. Like that. I just want to do 2 things. Right.
Yeah.
Doing that is very respectable. Definitely very respectable. It's harder than people think.
To be honest with you, I can't imagine being 9th place and commentating top 8. My mind would be
And that's the fucking thing. That's the thing. That's the fear.
9th place and then commentating for top 8. It's like
you gotta talk about the dude who just beat you.
I've done both. So,
yeah. That's what I'm saying.
So at CEO this year, what you were just talking about, okay, happened to me where, but I told him beforehand, like because Jabali knows, I was like, you might want to have a backup for top 8 in case I make top 8. I have a decent chance at making it. And then when I, was it CEO? Wait, where did I make top 8?
CEO.
You didn't make top 8 CEO. We played.
Yeah. What's the
ring?
I played you. That's right. I played you. Yeah. And so, the thing is, like, there's a big enough gap between top 16 and top 8 usually that there's enough time. And so since he was already prepared with a backup, I just hit him up and I was just like, yeah, I made top 8. You gotta like use the alternate. And he was like, no problem. So it was like already set up beforehand, so that was easy.
Good.
And then at CEO Taku, losing to Fu and then Kami, I had to commentate top 8. I guess I didn't have to, but I committed. I wasn't gonna not do it.
Yeah.
But again, there was enough of a gap in between that I was like already in a good mind already by the time top 8 started, so it was fine. And again, I think it's just like the environment is like those tournaments are so fun that even when you're disappointed at your loss, it's hard to be in a bad mood for too long, I guess. Maybe that's just me.
You're heroic. Yeah, you're heroic. You're definitely heroic. I definitely get in a really bad mood when I don't do as well as I'd like to. I get it. I wouldn't be able to be on a camera like you gotta
not on the camera that much, but
not that much, but it comes across in your voice and stuff too. Like
yeah,
I realized it real quick. I remember when was it? The first tournament they had Kokonoe out, I think. Right? we had listen to this team. It was 3 versus 3. NEC never does teams as the main event. It was a teams main event. And we had a good fucking team. It was me, Tonberry, who you might not know, and SKD. It was a good fucking team. We had a good team. And we got OCV'd by a Kokonoe player who I will not name, but is a good person. He's probably in now.
So why won't you name him?
Because it doesn't matter. The point is, we all lost. We got OCV'd. I was fucking tight, and I had to do commentary for the top 8 of it. And there were like multiple Kokonoe players, and I was just fucking. It was so hard. It was so hard. And I was like, yup, there's that move. Wow. Like it was bad. It was bad.
Like surprise about it, right? Wow.
Wow. Amazing overhead. I couldn't do it. I couldn't hold back.
I think that's the key, though. Actually, is like when you lose to some shit that you don't respect and that you don't like, and then you have to commentate on that because the player that beat you is now in top 8, so you have to commentate on that exact same like thing. That's I think what makes it feel bad, but I think that's why I usually don't have a problem doing it, because most of the time when I lose, I feel like, you got me, like I lost to like somebody respectable and they played well, and I could have done better and that kind of thing. So it's like whatever. So I think it's like, and I think that's also why like at my locals I feel worse about commentating after, because I don't know. I like the people that I lose to at my locals. Like, I don't know how to say this without it sounding bad.
Just say it. Just say it. This is the place. This is the place.
Because like I don't think anybody like okay the people that are the biggest threat to me at my locals are Hotashi, Juggernaut, and Mystic. And in casuals, I definitely beat all of them. That's not true.
That's not true.
I beat Hotashi and Mystic more than they beat me. But Juggernaut definitely is like my demon. Like in all of Guilty Gear, everywhere in the world, he is my demon.
Slayer.
Yes, Slayer. And so when I lose to him, I'm like salty because I feel like I got Slayered out. And then if I lose to Hotashi or Mystic,
it's not a random out. You get Slayered out.
Yeah, I got Slayered out. It's not even random because he's just playing the numbers. He's just swinging and he just hit me one time. So, but and so if I lose to Hotashi or Mystic, like it's not that I feel like oh, it's how did I lose? Like I just because like they definitely beat me. It's like not out of the realm that they beat me. Like they take games off me consistently. But it's like I feel like I beat them more in casuals, so I feel like I should have like just by running the numbers, like I should beat them in tournament more. But I don't know, like in tournament in my locals, I've never won our locals, never, not once.
Really?
It's that tournament thing, man. It's that fucking tournament thing. I get you, dude. I fucking get you.
Like,
there's something about playing a tournament.
And part of it I don't think is me. Part of it I think is like Hotashi is like the best tournament player I think I've ever seen in my life. I'm not even kidding.
I could agree with that.
Like
he's not the same person in casuals.
He's not the same person. And that's the key. That's how you beat him. He's not the same person in casuals. Yeah. That's how you beat him. That's how you beat him. You gotta be ready.
I used to. There was like a time period, like a long time ago already. It's already been like probably over a year and a half, 2 years even. That I like for a while I was like I don't think I can play this guy anymore because I felt like he was like sandbagging me because I'd beat him up in casuals and then because there was a time when we were doing weekly tournaments locally and he won every weekly and then we would play casuals the rest of the week and I'd beat him like every set and I'm just like this guy is like he's like sandbagging me just so he can win these fucking locals. I'm like fuck this guy. and then like just by playing him and like getting to know him better and like becoming friends with him and stuff I was like he is not sandbagging. He's just a tournament god. I don't know what it is. just like
you
everything
that he was a god.
Yeah, like things that would not break his way in casuals just like break his way in tournament, and it's like the difference between winning and losing. It's just like, dude, you got me. And like it's not just like our locals. Like you go back and watch like footage of him in like tournament, like it's just like.
Well, I remember watching Hamad play Hotashi. Hamad would like literally like 25-0, and then every time they run into each other, Hotashi just bodies him pretty convincingly.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting that you're on that same topic as other people have said the same thing. But as you say, once you meet him and get to know him, you be just like. Well, maybe he's just a god in tournament, right?
Yeah. Like I like, it's not to say that he doesn't play different casuals or tournament. It might be the case, but it's what I'm saying is that it's not conscious. It's not like a
it's not like
devious thing. Yeah, he's not like going out of his way to like sandbag just so he can beat you in a tournament. It's just like I think that maybe he just like
his
casuals. He just like is trying more things, and it's like a subconscious thing. He's like, there's no stress. He's there's just something about it. He just like, I don't know. It's just different.
I guess everybody has different ways of like approaching like casuals. Like when I play casuals, I play to learn, but I also want to like win with these things that I'm trying to learn, right?
Right.
So I'm definitely going to put like a huge effort into like my games. And then if the person is very fundamentally sound, and like understands, I will like kind of talk to them about like little things that I know that they will understand the situation and, discuss from there. Like, there was a time where like, and this is going back on the conversation we was talking about, like respecting losses and stuff. There's a lot of stuff that like I have in my, I'm like, man, I don't really respect this win, but like it is what it is. But it's rare. I think it's very rare when I actually respect somebody that I actually beat. Like, I was just like, you know what? Like, I obviously didn't like prepare correctly, and he was the best of me today. So here you go. You know what I mean? Like I would tell myself that. So it's rare for me to tell people that, you know, like, yo, you're like really good stuff. Like you definitely deserved it. You know what I mean? So.
Well, it's funny you say that, because after we played at Evo, I was like blown away with like how gracious you were after the match. Like I like was so like taken aback, because like no one's ever been that gracious like after a match. I was just like, this is like the nicest guy ever, because like we didn't really know each other that well at that time.
We did.
Like, so I was just like, dude, this is like the nicest fucking guy. I told multiple people about it. I was like, holy shit, like.
I mean, you should have seen what I was thinking after I lost. I was like, yeah, I got body. Like, I was just like, yep, can't do anything.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I didn't.
Well,
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was saying, well, you know, I felt like I didn't fully prepare. So, like, for this matchup. So when I lost to 3-1-0, it obviously showed that I wasn't fully prepared. So when I lost to another Venom, it showed that I just got outplayed. So I was just like, yeah, like, and you kind of did the same thing he did to me, but it was like a little bit more better for him, for you, because you kind of like you, when I did get started, you stopped everything that I started, but like when I played against him, I didn't even get a chance, right? So even when I got started, you was able to like counteract a lot of things I was doing. So I was like, yeah, that's good, and I can't really do much because you know I definitely wasn't fully prepared like I thought it was. And I'm just gonna go what I know, and I lost. So, and this is right after I beat you at a CEO. So that's
what I was gonna say, exactly.
So I wasn't even tripping about. I was like, yeah, like you got me.
Yeah. Well, that's why I was like, that added to why I was surprised at like how you were after the match, because we not only did we play in tournament at CEO, but we also played casuals at CEO, and we talked a lot about the match. And I told you, like, there was a lot that it's a matchup that I don't get to play a lot, and especially not like at your level. Like even when I do get to play it, it's with people like locally that only play the character like casually or whatever. So it's like not the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you know, we had talked a lot about like theory, and I actually remember a specific conversation that we had with Hamad also talking about like a certain string and like backdashing it in the corner and stuff, and I was just like, I don't think Venom could do that because his backdash and stuff. So like after CEO, because because I lost to you, and because the casuals I felt went so poorly, we played casuals and you beat me probably like 8-2 or 9-1. It was like horrible. So I went home and I like tried a lot of the stuff, and I like practiced stuff, because the other thing is like there's stuff that I know in that matchup that I've learned in training mode, but then I never get to do it. So it's like, you know, you don't have the muscle memory, you don't have the reactions to like do this stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, so I just like practiced it a lot, and, you know, and just tried to like learn more about the matchup. So that's why, but that's why when we played at Evo, I was so surprised that you were so gracious, because I wasn't sure if like you were in the back of your mind going to be like, man, like I destroyed this guy like a month ago at CEO.
No.
You know, and then I lose to him at Evo, like the biggest tournament of the year. Like, this sucks. Like,
my mind is like, if I know somebody is like I said, fundamentally sound, no matter what, if I beat them one time, the next game is not going to be free. So I was more worried about, did he watch me play against 3-1? If he did, this is going to be a problem. Like, that's what I was thinking, right? And I was like, he probably like got like one idea, and somebody very smart could like see an idea and then just copy and paste it. Like, that's not fun. That's not really fun.
I actually didn't know you played him until you said that a few minutes ago, or maybe I knew back then and I forgot by now. But I definitely didn't see you play him before. Like if I found out that you played him, it was after already. So,
yeah, but I like, so I wasn't really like, I didn't like, I usually don't have that mindset like sometimes, because I'd be like, man, this person could like win in the lab and just be like all like happy hunkadory in my face, but he probably got something in the lab like ready to like activate it. So I'd just be like, yeah, this guy's probably gonna be like doing something like very different, and you did. So I was just like, yeah, he outplayed me. Good shit. You know what I mean? Like the fact that you didn't play the same, I get impressed, and I was very sad that I lost. But at the same time, I still had to like give props to like the way like the quality of the match was like pretty good. I screwed up a lot. And
where was that in the tournament? Where was that in the tournament?
Top 32.
So I know exactly where it was, and because I'm gonna segue this back, we're gonna go full circle here.
Okay.
So I played Kizzy. It was top 32. No, it was top 64 losers.
Mm-hmm.
And right. So this was okay. So I gotta like set the stage here a little bit so that it makes sense. So do you remember top 64 at Evo, how it got pushed back an hour?
Yeah,
I remember that.
Because
we was there.
I remember that.
Okay.
I remember that.
Yeah. Run it back.
Yeah, so okay, so we're an hour behind, right? So it started, I believe, I want to say at 6 o'clock. Okay, I was scheduled to do commentary, and this is how we're going full circle. Okay, I was scheduled to do commentary at 7. I was supposed to be on the jump off, and then I was also scheduled to do top 32 Guilty Gear with James Chen at 8. Okay, now this was all scheduled like weeks before, and I had talked to the production staff and everything, and we had a plan for all this because again I let them know beforehand like you should have backups because I have a decent chance at like making top 32. Okay, so we had backups and everything. Great. So the plan was I was gonna get with my bracket runner for top 64 and have him run all my matches as soon as possible so that I could be done by 7 for the jump off, and if not I would at least for sure be done by 8 if I'm out because the bracket's gonna be done by then, so I'd be fine for top 32. So we got pushed back an hour. At like 6:45, we still hadn't even started top 64 yet. So I immediately, like, I had been in contact with the production staff the whole time, and I was like, I'm not gonna be able to make jump off. There's no way. This thing is like not moving. Just fill me in. So I let that shift go, and then, but we were still an hour behind. So now I'm starting to worry, like, what's going on? Like, we need to finish this by 8 because I need to, you know, like I need to know, like, it's not even that I need to go do commentary. If I make top 32, I need to let them know they need to find a replacement, and they need to make sure that they always schedule backups, but they need to make sure the backup's there. So I play Kizzy, and then I have to make that was the match before, so I had to play one match to now make it into top 32. So I look at the time, and it's 7:45. And I'm like, okay. So I find out I have to play Kyohei. And I'm like, oh my god. And this actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, going back to what we were talking about, this is probably the only instance ever where commentary might have negatively affected my tournament performance. Because when I found out I had to play Kyohei for top 32, I was actually excited because I feel like I do really well against Kyohei every time we play. And that was the first time we ever played in a tournament actually, but in casuals I always do really well against him.
Right.
So I was like, holy shit, I actually, like, I think I can make top 32 right now. But like, I got up from the match with Kizzy, and like my adrenaline was like really high because I did not expect to beat you at all. And so I was like really surprised and like tense, and Kyohei was right there because he knew he had to play the winner of our match, so he was waiting. And I really badly wanted to be like, I need a few minutes to like calm down and just like get my mental state back. But I didn't have time because of the bracket.
Oh, because of the commentary too.
Yeah.
So you just played right away.
So yeah, so I said to him, I was like, I need like a minute, but we don't have like time, like, but I need like just like a minute. And so I like tried to just like relax, and after like a little bit of time, I was like, this is not gonna be enough time. Like I was so high on adrenaline. I was just like, you know what? Let's just play. And then we just like played like really quick, and he beat me. And then I was just like, you know what? It is what it is. I gotta go. And then I just like literally ran over there and sat down. And within like 5 minutes, we were doing commentary.
That
yeah.
That sucks.
So, but you know what? But I didn't feel bad. I didn't feel bad about it. It was not one of those like feel bad commentary slots, because again, I was so happy still that I beat you that I didn't even feel bad that I lost to Kyohei. So I was just like, and I was excited because I never commentated Guilty Gear with James, and I was excited to do that. So I was just like, you know what? I was like really in a good mood, so it was fine.
Yeah, you got me pretty good. So I was like, I was actually like man, like you, like if you, like it's funny, like if my mind could like speak for itself, like the mindset I had, you probably would have laughed because I was just like, yeah, I lost, like you should give him props. So I was like, yeah, I got bodied that. The second game was pretty convincingly. I was like, man.
What was the score?
It recorded?
The score was 2-0.
I don't remember.
2-0. Wow, washed. Sorry.
Yeah.
Was it recorded? It wasn't recorded, was it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
Was it an off-stream one? Was it an off-stream one?
Yeah, it was off-stream.
It was off-stream. Yeah.
What made it bad? There was a round where like it was like 1-1, right? And like I tried to go for like a neutral jump, and he did like run under me, right? And I thought like he was gonna like run under me and run away. He did run under 6P, and I lost the game because.
I can't believe you remember that. I don't remember a single thing.
Little things like that, it leaves me like mentally broken until I find out what happened. Like, I'm like, why, like, what decided him to like run under me in 6 feet air rather than running full screen and like setting up, right? He ran under me, like I did like a neutral, right? Off of a block string, and he just ran under, like he just ran out, and he ran, and then he 6P, it countered him, and then he did 6P, and like I literally lost that game because I had low calories. Didn't do anything. So, and then when I burst, finally, I was like, yeah, I got pixel health. I finally burst. Okay, he has like 50 meter, and then he set like the super bar. And I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like really? So I bet Kizzy gets this feeling too, because you play more than one game. So you're similar to me. Like, do you ever feel like really busy at major events because you have the commentary thing too? Because between like casuals and hanging out with people and in tournament and in commentary,
oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like for sure. Yeah. And that's like the one thing that makes me sometimes not want to do commentary, is because I feel like I don't have time to like play casuals as much as I want to, because I'm the type of player that like I will legit play for like 14 hours straight.
That's that old. Like, that's that old. You were saying.
Yeah.
Like I will sit down on a setup. I'll sit down on a setup and I will play until I have to go to the bathroom or eat, and then I'll do that thing, and then I'll come back and play, and then I'll literally do that until I'm exhausted.
Yeah, so that's the kind of same mentality I have too.
You guys are heroes. You guys, I've been calling you heroic all night, but like that's true. I can't do that.
So it's we now. So I'm a hero now. Thank you.
But I feel like I've seen you
shout
do that,
shout outs to my
who me?
My fan.
No way. No. I do.
I feel like I've seen you go into a casuals room and like sit down and play for like 3-4 hours straight.
I gotta take breaks. There's a point, especially like if it's multiple people. If I'm playing like, let's say there's like 8 people in the room, and like it's like, oh, okay, winner stays, whatever, and I just like stay there, win, whatever for a couple of hours, I can do that. But if I'm playing one person, it can't be. No.
I'm talking about like a rotation. If you're literally just like rematch. Yeah, like after like an hour, I gotta like stand up.
I just gotta like
drink some water, like go to the bathroom, do something. But like, but if it's a rotation, I can go much longer.
I just feel like the sets get shitty. I get that the sets get bad. Like I remember the exact day I decided, hey, I shouldn't play one person for too long, because my my main training partner Meltywood, we would play and we would just, but he can play forever. This person Tom Brady can play fucking forever. So we would play, and different matchups too, because we both play like fucking 15 characters or whatever. So eventually we get bored and play like different characters. No, we just pick like different shit. We just pick like weird shit, like random things that you. It's like you're playing Third Strike and you pick like, I don't know, Chun Super 1 instead of Super 2 or something, just for shits and giggles. Like we just do it. Just to mix it up. Yeah, just and then after like an hour and a half, I'm like, these games suck. Like we gotta stop playing. We gotta do something else. Like, do you want to watch anime or something? Like, fuck. Like, we just have to, like, reset our brains. Because, that
happens, too. Yeah. That happens, too. I think that's more... You're more susceptible to that when you're playing one person.
Exactly.
But with a rotation, I don't have that problem.
Yeah, same thing. Then it's just, like, endurance.
Yeah.
Man, I guess the mindset I have is, like, man, long sets... Like I'd be like doing, all right, 10 games I'm gonna play like this. Okay, 10 games I'm gonna play like that. Okay, like it's not working, so I'm like play like this. Like I'd be like thinking like a lot when I play like long sets like that. So that's probably why people don't like really playing me, like, cause I would sit there and like, yo, you want to do like an FT20? You want to do an FT30?
I would never play FT20 of you.
I'd be serious.
FT10.
That's my favorite way to train, actually, because the thing is, like, when you play, like, okay, so when I'm playing like casuals at my locals, like specifically at my locals, because the thing is also, like, your goal is different, like, depending on like where you're playing, right? Like, if I'm playing casuals at a tournament, my goal is to play kind of like it's a tournament. Like, I'm playing to win, not necessarily to learn, but I'm trying to learn just like the matchups, right? Or like get like different matchup experience. Even if it's a character that I have matchup experience in locally, I'm trying to like play other players of that character to like learn, you know, areas of the matchup that maybe my training partner doesn't do, or like plays differently, you know. Yeah. So it's like I'm not necessarily like trying to like work on my own specific like one player game or like something in my own game. I'm trying to like work on like big picture stuff, right? Like matchups and stuff like that, right? But when I'm playing my locals, I'm not doing that kind of stuff. I'm trying to learn, like, I'll go in and I'll be like, all right, tonight is instant kill night. I'm gonna practice like these instant kill setups that I need to like work into my game, and practice paying attention to when my opponent is instant killable, right? Yeah. So it's like, you know, like I'll be like, I want to practice this one setup, and I'll just force the setup the whole night. Like, in situations where I should have really, like, if I was in tournament, I should have done something different, like a better combo, like better corner carry, whatever. I'll do something totally different just to force and practice setup and like see how it works, see where it works, see like why it works, like, you know, like try all the different options, which options work, like that kind of thing. Yeah. So it's like because of that like goal, I'd rather play the same person for an hour, because if you're trying to like try one thing and you only get to play one person for 2 or 3 games, it's like harder to practice the one thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense for me, because I kind of have a similar mindset. Like I said, I literally have like a strategy, like particularly to like find this way to like get this situation to happen, right?
Right.
Like, and I be talking to LK about this. I was like, yo, LK, you know what I've been working on? I've been working on like walking in people's faces in a range where they can't really hit me, and I'm not really meeting them. But I want them to think that like they could get out, but I'm trying to find that exact timing to stop that, right?
Right.
So I'll literally play somebody for like 30 games and be like, all right, I want to find this particular moment where I could just do this, right? Where they think that it's okay to like do something, but you can't. And like I would sit there and be like, okay, I finally got this. Okay, now I want to change the timing. Okay, now I got the timing change. Okay, let me do it like this, do like some stuff like that, right? And I just think I need about like 30 games to like find that thing, that formula that I've been looking for, right? So that's probably why I like long sets a lot, because I have like different like brainstorms like every 10 games, every 5 games, right?
Yeah, see, stuff like that. Sorry to cut you off, but like stuff like that is like a perfect example, because it's like, to practice something like that, you have to actually like set it up, right? You can't just like do it. So like if you're playing a short set of like 2 or 3 games, the opportunity to even try to set it up might only come up 1 or 2 times, and it's like, all right, well, the set's over. Now I'm starting fresh with somebody new. So it's like, you know, you play the same person like 50 games straight, you can actually like condition them and like, you know, get it to the level where you can like actually try the thing you want to try.
Yeah. Condition, the perfect word.
I feel like that's a pretty good segue, because like, you are OS Ryan Hunter, right? So you have that reputation as a fighting game scientist. It's actually good that you talked about Flash before being like a Theos type of player, because I feel like everyone knows someone like that, right? Like someone who like they're really good, but they can't really tell you why. It's just like I knew, or like I just kinda, and just, you know. But someone like you who is very good at like articulating where you're thinking and why you do stuff. I guess I want to know, like, just like, do you feel like anyone could do that? Like, did you feel like you had to take yourself to that kind of place? Like, you don't feel like, let's say you're an instinctual player. Maybe that's why you play Venom, besides thinking he's cool. Like, it's just very easy to be like, hey, like, in this situation I want to do this, and because there's these options, and then, like, that goes into this, and then there's these. Like, how do you feel about that?
Okay, so
Yeah.
first of all,
Because I'm kind of in your lane, by the way. Like, as you know, I'm
Yeah.
we're like similar in that regard.
well, it's funny, and I'll talk about that too in a second. But I gotta set one thing straight first of all. Just to set the record straight,
Yeah.
I only pick characters for one reason, and this is gonna sound like a joke, but it is not. I pick whatever character looks the fucking coolest beating you.
Okay.
That's
Excuse
it.
me. First of all,
You wilded. I only pick characters.
Hold on. I'm actually kind of hurt because Venom is not the coolest character. Shit.
No. The coolest, the character that looks the coolest when he's beating you.
Yeah.
Sin doesn't look cool when he's beating you.
No, you just swing your
it looks
stick, dog.
fine.
It's a little.
Bro, he has an eye patch. He's doing
No, but that's the difference. Wait, Kizzy. You
you're
have to.
RTL.
He said specifically when he's winning, so he doesn't think Venom is cool. He only thinks Venom is cool when he's winning.
I mean, I think Venom's cool too, but that's irrelevant to, you know, I played Dudley in Third Strike. In CVS 2, I played Hibiki and Eagle, and in Street Fighter 4, I played Cody. Like people always ask me like, how come you play like zoning characters in some games and rushdown characters in other games? I'm just like, dude, they just whatever character looks the coolest.
Guy, bro. Guy is the coolest.
I have a very simple criteria for who I play. It's really easy. I only main characters that I would hug. That's it. It's very simple. That's it. That's all. That's it. It's very simple. If I would hug him,
that's a good rule though.
You hug Kokonoe?
Yeah.
You hug
She's nice.
Guy?
Of course. He literally turns into a wolf.
She's a nice person.
She's a nice person. I think she's very nice and she's smart.
Man.
I would hug all my mains. I'm guaranteed I would hug all my mains. 100%. All my real mains. I would never hug my alts, but I'll always hug my mains. I'll always hug my mains. I only pick, on the other hand, while we're still on the subject, I only alt characters I hate. So if you see me playing another character, it almost is 100% I don't like them.
Why? Because you want to learn them to learn how to beat them?
No, because I want to prove my point on why they're bullshit. Because they're always like, you don't play them, you don't know. So then I pick them, and like, I do know this is all shenanigans. This is all fucking garbage. You're all trash. That's why I play the character. Also, it helps in my region. Sometimes those characters aren't played. So for example, I fucking hate Teddy. I was one of the best Teddys. And there's also no Teddys in Northeast. Because we needed one. But I also hate it.
I see.
Teddy was a whack.
I usually hate my alts. I like some of my alts, but I usually hate my alt characters. You think I like Taokaka? No, I don't fucking like Taokaka. I don't fucking. Why would I like Taokaka? It's garbage.
There's other criteria that also factors into my equation. Like the character also has to be like interesting.
Would you hug Venom?
There has to be.
You have to think. You have to think. You have to think.
No, I mean,
I would hug Million.
Yeah, you have to think. It's cool.
It's cool.
It's cool, bro.
But yeah, like there has to be some depth there. They have to be interesting. There has to be like something. There has to be something that like is that I like something that they do that's cool. Like I should have mentioned my cross Tekken team. Come on, Julia and Steve, the coolest two characters in the game.
First of all, this is where you're wrong because Lars is actually godlike in that game.
Lars is so whack. Ew.
Wow.
I'm
Alright guys, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming to LK stream. We're about to end it again.
Lars,
don't be whack.
I think I got a bad taste in my mouth because the people who play Lars just played like such scumbags. I just hated playing against that character.
Bro, he was so cool. He was like a Rekka character. He was like he had so much going on with him. He had, you know, every Tekken like character in that game, they had like some like bootleg way to evade like projectiles.
Yeah.
And his projectile, he had the EX little slide like Sid, right? But then if you did the palm, it crumbled you.
Yeah.
So like he had so much like damage going on for him. That character was god. Like I don't care how. Man, Julia's whack, bro. Julia
was Julia when you start to get them blocking, you're just like party crasher, come on, hit a button, party crasher, and then you do low short and the counter hits, you're just like, oh, I forgot this guy, dude.
She was pretty cheap in the first bat.
Yeah, she was still really good after the nerfs.
Yeah,
she got crazy nerfed.
Yeah, but I remember the team Julia Rufus was pretty cheap. That team was.
I mean, we go off on a tangent. I could talk about Cross Tekken all night, but I think you'll lose all your viewers. So, but
I mean, I really like that game, by the way. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, best game. But so going back to what you asked me originally, which was thinking versus feeling and all that. So the thing with Venom is that like I kind of like lucked out because I legit just picked Venom because his concept was just so cool. He just like looked so cool. But then it turns out that like his playstyle also is my favorite type of playstyle, which is it's actually exactly like Julia, and that's part of the reason why I love Julia so much. It's and Cody actually all exactly the same. They're frame trapping pressure characters that don't have like inherently like built-in high lows. They're more like throw-based frame trap characters. Those are my favorite. Like I've played tons of other characters, like other archetypes, and I'm like fine with that. But Steve also, for that matter, Steve is also the same thing. Like that's just like my favorite playstyle. So it just like luckily worked out because I would have played Venom no matter what he was because of how cool he like the concept is. But it also works out that it's my favorite type of playstyle.
You know, it's funny. I'm like kind of on the same boat. Like all the characters, the archetypes I like are like Shotos, right? And all the characters I play are like either like high risk to it or like they are Shotos. So it's pretty except for one game. One game I completely like. I went the other direction, dude. I went for like an Oki based character into like shenanigans. But
what game was that?
Under Night.
Seth?
Yeah.
Okay.
Excuse me? Okay, what?
I don't know anything about Under Night, so I.
Okay, what? Okay, you got something?
No, nothing.
No comment. Speak your mind,
This is
bro.
Under Night.
Do I need to get on your account? Like, okay, speaking his mind right now?
If it's Under Night, it's just the game's whack. That's all I gotta say about Under Night. Yes.
The game is whack?
Yeah, the game's whack.
Wow. I don't really know that much about it, but it always seems pretty cool to me.
It's a very well made game that is not fun for me. So it's just whack. That's all. That's all. I don't like it when games like, I mean, think about it. I really like, I really hate when a game just tells you no when you try to like come up with stuff. That breaks my heart. And that's what the game does. Yeah.
You talking about that game because that game.
You have to play it. You have to play the game
the way they want you to play.
Yeah. I don't like it when like you try to come up with stuff.
Except for Seth. Seth was the only character that you didn't have to follow the rule.
Honestly, Yuzuriha is pretty good. Like it's not like she's good enough. Like strength wise, I like A tier or higher usually, and like, she's fine. There's nothing wrong with her. She's a fine character, but I just fucking hate when I try to come up with shit in the game. Just like no. That's the worst. It's the worst feeling. The worst feeling. That's why I don't like it.
That's part of the reason why I love Venom. Just like I feel like Venom's the kind of character you can just play forever because there's just there's new shit.
Yeah. Come up with just playing pool in the actual tournament.
Yeah, basically. Actual
game. You just 8-ball corner pocket. Oh, look at this idea that I find out. Boom, 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 boom. Black ball, chip you out. Oh, you hit a button. All right, you got frame trap.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a pretty simple way of breaking down a character. I mean, personally, the only thing that I really would like to see is like more players. It's not a lot of Venoms, right?
That's a lie. Yeah. That's a fucking lie. Are you serious?
Is that a lie?
There's an army. Yeah. There's an army of Venom
players.
Where's
the army at?
There's so many. Venom is popular. In my opinion, he's popular. They're mad Venoms.
Not in SoCal. We have one.
Not in SoCal. Maybe not in SoCal. I feel like there are a lot of Venom players.
How many Venom players you can count off your
maybe I can't count them off the top of my head, but I feel
see,
like Venom is
not a lot of
popular.
Venom players.
I think Venom is popular. There's a good amount of Venom players.
There's a lot of Soul players.
There's a good amount of Venom players. One of the big lies of Guilty Gear, besides Slayer is bad, is Venom is rare. That's another one. Venom is not rare. Venom is not rare. Sin is rare.
I will say this. I will say this to your point. Venom is less rare now than he used to be.
Easily,
I still think he's on the rarer side, but like he's definitely less rare. I can definitely agree with that because like back in like the older days, like Accent Core, there's like 2 Venoms, and I'm not counting my stealth because I didn't travel or anything in Accent Core. So it's like, it was like there was like Diando, and Black Snake.
Mm.
And that was it. It was like, all right, well. So there's definitely more now.
There's definitely more. There's definitely more. Because I remember specifically there was one point, there was a turning point in Sign where I'm like, my defense is garbage. Who is my defense especially bad against? And one of the characters that came up is Venom. And I was like, it's not enough for me to just play Black Snake and just play like Dino or whatever. I gotta play like random Venoms. So I went in the Venom Discord and I played like 6 or 7 Venom players. And then I would go on PSN and I would just play random. I was like, dude, it's all these Venom players for me to practice against. Great! Like, great! It's so easy to find Venom. So my head is like, a Venom is available. Like, when I need a Venom, someone will be like, hey, I play Venom. I'm like, yeah.
Well, is that fair though? Because you're just talking about like people that you played online, but like if you go to a tournament, how many Venoms are you running into in a tournament bracket?
In tournament, that's fair. In tournament, that's fair. But I'm talking about the existence of Venom. I'm talking about this because if you go by tournaments, right? Like, okay, how many Milias are there right now? Right?
I agree.
There's a couple of Milias, but Milia is not rare in tournament.
What? She doesn't exist. She doesn't exist.
Do I need to throw the names on the table right now?
The thing is, like,
I know my name is 2 parts.
A lot of the high-profile Melee players stopped playing.
Oh, that is true.
Like if you go back like 2 years ago, there were multiple tournaments I went to that I got double eliminated by 2 different Melee players, and I was just like, what the fuck is going on? It was like Sim, Chosen Ninja, and there's another one that also stopped playing.
Stanley. Oh, there's a guy too, right?
Who?
Oh, you're talking about Wind God dude.
Yeah, wasn't he OG too? Right?
I don't know if he's OG, but I know he's a Melee player. Yeah.
I don't know I don't know if that's who I was thinking of, but
there was like some Canadian Melee player that played back in the day. I forgot his name. I thought it was that OG guy.
But yeah, so like back then there were a lot of Milias. Now the only Milias I run into in tournament are okay. I don't think I've played another Milia in tournament that I can remember recently.
Damn.
Same.
You know what character I did run into a lot in tournament?
Who?
Raven.
Oh yeah.
Raven.
Well, I mean,
Raven and Heiyun. Heiyun and Raven.
Kuma is such a weird one. Kuma's a weird one.
Yeah,
Kuma's
but he's weird popular though, but he's actually really popular.
It's a certain type of person,
Yeah.
It's like the thing. It's like the thing where it's like I used to say that you could walk into a room and you could tell who plays Arakune. I feel like it's the same for Kum. you definitely know who plays Kum in the room. You could just like
Can I maybe I can either confirm or disprove your theory because I was gonna learn Heiyun as a secondary character for fun.
Doesn't count.
Like it
has to be main. Full time.
Has to be main. Okay,
full time. Full time.
Yeah, you have to be. You have to be a full breed, no half breed. You have to be full fledged in your veins, your blood.
I remember at the Evo Suite, I never actually have seen Vogue in my life, right? Until Evo, and I just looked at him and I'm like, yo, do you want to play? And I knew it was him. I was like, yo, you want to play? I'm trying to play Kum against Kum. I knew it was him immediately. I could tell. There's like an aura. Like Kum, is there something about, you could tell for free. When Fu switched to Kum, I was like, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was like, yeah, that's not that outlandish. That's not that outlandish. There's just some people. There's that thing. There's one character in every game that you can tell. Raven, you can't tell just by looking at the person. You never know.
They're all like hoodied up, bro.
They're not all of them. Not all of them. Look at Manny. He wears the hat. He doesn't wear a hood.
Well, yeah, he wears the hat. So
do you think it's just headgear? It's not that easy.
Yeah,
it's not that easy.
But I'm pretty sure I've seen Manny with the hat on with a hood over the hat. I'm pretty sure.
I almost spit my drink out when you
said that. I'm telling you, it's the hoodie. It's the hoodie. It's all the hoodies, bro. I'm telling you. They go around and they have like some type of headgear, and they all play Raven. Fame, he had always wear hoodies.
Fame, when he came to New York, he wasn't wearing a hood. Oh shit, he wasn't wearing a hood. I'm about to break my setup because you're talking about.
He probably was wearing a beanie though. Was he wearing a beanie?
He was wearing a coat because it's cold.
Nah, but was he wearing a beanie or a hat?
No.
I don't believe that, bro.
No.
I don't believe that.
Nah. Kum, there's one character in every game where you know.
So this is like completely unrelated, but it made me think of this for some reason. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
So I thought of this when I made top 8 at CEO and we had the intros, and I was like, how sick would it be if I had like like cosplayers like make their own like you know, accessories and stuff.
Yeah,
I was like, I should commission a like a really good like cosplayer that can like make like legit like make things, and make Venom's briefcase, but on the inside it holds my stick.
That's kind of dope.
That would have been next level.
That's kind of dope.
So I walk up with the briefcase, and the like latch is all open, and it opens up, and my stick is just inside.
So here's a mildly related thing. I've never told anyone this, by the way. Only like 2 or 3 people know this. Now I'm gonna say it on the stream. So a couple of years ago, it's around like when Fire Emblem Awakening came out. Okay, a couple of years ago, there was some major, I forget where, it was definitely Midwest, that's the only one I know, it's not Youmacon, some Midwest major that I was planning on going to, but I didn't tell anybody. And the plan was, I was going to like, ask a cosplayer friend to make me this costume, and the character has a mask, so I was going to cosplay, it was Youmacon actually, it was 1 year Youmacon where I didn't tell people. And I was going to wear the mask and cosplay a character from the game, and enter the tournament under a different name, cosplaying with mask on and everything. They'll just enter.
Was your plan to not talk to anybody for the whole tournament?
Yes. I wasn't gonna say a word to anybody because you can't see shit. All you can see is like the mouth. That's it. If someone identified me by my mouth, by the way, that would be ridiculous. That would be crazy. If someone was like, "It's you," I'm like, "No, I can't say no." I could just be like, So I wasn't gonna say anything. I was just gonna play and have my friend with me. We had a whole plan. Like, yeah, like. His throat is bodied, like he can't really talk, but like, you know, I'm helping him out. He just wants to, it's his first tournament. Like we had this whole plan set up. I fucking missed my flight, and I got really mad. We'd all identify. If you were saying chat, we'd but no, I was gonna say shit. I wasn't going to say anything at all to anybody. I was just gonna play very quietly. That was the plan. I was inspired by it. Apparently that happened in like Melee, like a Falco player, some guy won a Canadian major with like some like ridiculous name like Super Smash Bro 69 or something, wearing like shades and a beanie. Nobody knew who he was. He just showed up, beat everybody, and left. I wanted to do that.
That's pretty godlike.
You weren't gonna wait until it was over, then
No, I was gonna leave. That's it. Nobody was ever gonna know. That was the plan. We even got a room. He had his own room. My boy had his own room. I was like, I'll stay in your room. Is anyone staying there? He's like, no. I'm like, all right, perfect. That way nobody will know the whole time. I was never going to not be in the cosplay except for in the room.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Falco Master 3000. That's the one. I was inspired. Falco Master 3000. Well, my plan was thwarted by LaGuardia.
He's definitely in the future, dude. 3000.
Yeah.
My plan was thwarted, but I respect that.
But yeah, we got kind of off topic.
Yeah.
So you asked me about thinking versus feeling.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah. Mostly just like where, cause just so like you remember, right? So it's like you said like especially when you said Flash was kind of a feeling player. It's hard for you to understand stuff. It was like how did you kind of get to that point where you understood it and was able to articulate it? Because there's still some people who are like that and can't do it very well.
Yeah. Okay, so this is something that I've thought about for a long time. Like I'm talking like probably close to 10 years. I've like had this like idea in my head of like thinking versus feeling, and I have a lot of thoughts on that. So first of all, I think you had asked me originally, like, do I think anybody can be a thinking player? And no, I don't. I think there are certain players that they just play by feel. And if you would have asked me this question 10 years ago, I would have told you straight up, like, that shit is inferior. Thinking player will win, like, every time. Like, it's like Batman. Like, with enough time, the thinking player will just evolve past the feeling player, and they won't be able to like evolve any further. But like now, my stance on that has changed a lot, because what I realized, again, because this is something that I think about like frequently, like every like few months it'll like come up and I'll like think about it. And so like I'll have discussions with people, and then I had a revelation at some point that like I think when people, because this is not like a new, like we're not inventing this conversation. This is a conversation that's been had before, right? So like I think when people have this conversation, they assume that like the feeling player, like how can I say this? Like they only like they just like do what they feel, and it's like irrational. But that's not how it is, because like what I've come to realize is that like the feeling player can arrive at the same conclusions as the thinking player. They just get there differently. So it's like the way I try to describe it to people is like, if you're familiar with like evolution, right? Like the theory of evolution, like in the world, right? It's like what's the phrase? Natural selection, right? So it's like the same principle can be applied to the mind of a feeling player. So think of it this way: like, I'm a feeling player, right? We're playing, and I jump at you, and you anti-air me, right? I'm not thinking about it at all, right? Like I'm not the type of player that thinks to myself like, oh shit, I jumped and he anti-aired me, maybe I should stop jumping. And that thought never crosses my mind, because I'm literally not consciously thinking, right? But then I'm the feeling player. I jump at you again. I get anti-aired again. Subconsciously, I'm gonna start to get a feeling like it becomes instinct that when I have the urge to jump, I'm gonna get this like spider sense, like, nah, something's wrong here. Like, I'm gonna get anti-aired. You know what I mean? Is this making sense?
No, that makes sense. That makes sense.
So it's like you naturally evolve, and the feeling player can arrive at the same like strategy and the same like
conclusion,
game plan, yeah, like all the same stuff as a thinking player. They just the difference is they have to like grind it to that point, and that the problem with that is that it relies on playing people that will elevate you to that level, and that will also evolve off of you, right? And like continue the progression. So whereas like I feel like a thinking player, you can skip a lot of those steps by like doing lab work and like looking at frame data and like, you know, like that kind of thing. You can like skip steps almost. Yeah. So
but I also think
that's interesting. The assumption part makes a lot of sense too, because I bet when you had a lot of people talking about that kind of thing, right? Like feeling versus thinking, they're thinking of the guy who's like literally just dice rolling, just doing stuff, versus like the person who, you know, like maybe they prepare these stakes and these things, and like they know their frame data and blah blah blah. And it's still a relevant topic today, because I keep thinking the deeper you go into fighting games, the more like scientific it gets, you know. So like to me, like the feeling type of player is the person who plays like Leo today. Like you play like a high level Leo player, right? Like you play, you know the game, you know your frame data, but sometimes you fucking do back turn kick into DP because that to me that's a feeling player today.
See, but that's, you know what I mean? That's not how I look at it though.
Yeah.
That's not how I look at it.
Yeah.
Like see, like what I'm talking about, because maybe we're talking about like two different things or like two different aspects of this conversation, because it's like what I'm talking about is like let's think about like Alex Valle for a second, because in my opinion he's one of the best examples of a feeling based player. Do you agree with that?
I extremely
okay. So like you ask Alex Valle like what's the frame data on this movie, he's gonna be like, I have no idea, right? He might know like one or two of like the most important moves, but like he's not gonna be able to like rattle off, you know, frame data for all of his characters' moves, right? So it's like let's say you, LK, like you play Ryu, right? Let's just pretend. Maybe you did, I don't know.
No way.
Okay, so like you're studying a matchup, right? You're studying the Ryu mirror match, right? You go into the lab and you're like, okay, my crouching medium is minus X on block or whatever. Let me like run through like what my options are. So like if I do crouching medium, he blocks it, what are my options after? Like what can I still do that'll beat certain of his options, right? You might like go through, because it's like a really like, you know, this is a really core, you know, piece of the matchup, whatever. And so you grind it out, you figure out like all the different options, you make notes, you know, and you know all the data, you know why things work, etc., right? Now we go back to Alex Valle, right? So now if I ask you, tell me about the interaction with the opponent in the Ryu mirror match after they block crouching medium, you would tell me, okay, this beats this, this beats this, this works like 60-70% of the time because it beats this set of options, etc., right? You give me like by the numbers like what beats what, right? But I could ask Alex Valle the same question and he'd be able to give me almost the same exact answer, if not the same answer. He didn't do any of the lab work. He just from experience, and you know, maybe he wouldn't be able to give me like all the detail, but that might also be because he doesn't verbalize it, but he might still subconsciously know those details. You see what I'm saying?
I think yeah. So we're like defining we're like defining what the feeling player is differently, which is why I think that discussion gets really murky a lot, right?
Yeah,
you said the same thing. And you said the same thing too. You're like, I think people they have an assumption of what a feeling player is, but it's actually this, which I think it makes a lot of sense. What you're saying.
Yeah. And it sucks because a lot of times when you get into these topics, besides right now, a lot of disagreements and agreeing, and then like people bash heads, and it's like a war. It's like a war going on, right? But it's very interesting, that two people, like you said, they see the same, they see it the same way, but they learn it different, or they see it in, like, they solve it different. So
yeah, and I think it's important to identify, because it's like you're saying, I think people don't give, when people throw around the term like feeling-based player, I think it's like what you were describing earlier. It has like a negative connotation where,
yeah,
where
for
people,
sure.
people just assume that what you're saying is like, yeah, they just like do what they feel, and that doesn't mean anything, so they're just doing random things, and that is not what I think a feeling-based player means. It just to me, it's a definition of like how they learn and like how they internalize, what's good and what's not. So it's like what you were talking about, where it's like, I do 6K and then sometimes I just DP because I feel like it. Again, it's like two sides of the same coin, because a thinking-based player, I feel like, would do that also, but again, just for a different reason, because it's like by the numbers you have to do that sometimes, just to like, you know what I mean? It's like if I played Leo, I would do that sometimes too. Like, I might do it for different reasons than a feeling-based player. Like, I might try to like pay more attention to my, what is my opponent doing after I do 6K? You know what I mean? And like that'll be like my path to know when I want to do that. But again, the feeling-based player will come to that same conclusion, but they'll do it subconsciously. They won't be thinking, like, they won't think to themselves, what is my opponent doing after 6K? They'll just get this feeling subconsciously, like, man, I'm doing 6K and my opponent, I'm like being attacked afterwards, so I should DP here, like it's gonna work. You know what I mean? It's like the same conclusion. It's just a difference of consciously or subconsciously.
Yeah, there was a speaking of that, I wanted to ask both of you guys, what do you guys what do you guys label yourself as? You think you're a thinking player or a feel-based player? I just wanted to get that out of that. I wanted to get that question out of the way, because I don't think we didn't really. I think the chat didn't really hear. What do you guys label yourself?
I don't think we really said. We didn't say it. We just started talking.
Yeah, we kind of just started talking.
Yeah.
And it sounded like we were like both, right? It's pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, so the thing is, like, I definitely think I'm more of a thinking-based player for sure.
Okay.
But
what about you, okay?
To be honest, almost definitely the same. Like, for sure. Even when I played characters that you would think are like a thinking-based player, like I played a grappler once, but like even then I used to like really parse out. And, like, my growth has been through usually like just digging deeper into the game more than like repping, like the way Ryan talks about it, like repping the same situation a lot, kind of realizing whether it's consciously or subconsciously, like this thing is happening to me, so I need a counter. Usually it's like I play it. It comes out in the way I practice too. Like I play like X amount of games. I review the games. I'm like, oh, this is happening. I should do this. I should do this against this. I should do this against this. I should do this against this. I'm really very a thinking-based player for sure.
Yeah, and this is where we all detach from our brotherhood. Three guys, cause I'm more of a feeling-based. I think everybody can kind of see that I'm more feel-based than anything.
To be honest, people are probably like mixed. It's probably like percentages. I don't think it's like 100% like you're one or the other, but it's probably like you lean more towards one or the other.
Right? Because I really feel like that it's very. Like, I feel like the players that excel from like as a fighting game player, not a competitor, but a fighting game player, is when you can add both into your game. I feel like that's extremely important.
100%.
Because of course, we need to learn frame data, right? But you also have to keep in mind too that frame data doesn't win you game. So that's where the field-based side, right? So if I know somebody's +2, right, and I do a DP after the +2 normal and they get hit, and then they'll do the move +2 again, I probably would mash at normal, right? And the reason why I would mash at normal is because I condition them to not swing after their +2 move. So now they're looking for the DP. But then if they get the normal, and then some people are like, why would you mash there on plus? And I was like, well, I condition you to be afraid of my DP. So I bar it and I try to get escape out. It's like, mixing up options. So like you can't always rely on frame data, because if you rely on frame data, you'll never win, because you'll never see like the feel aspect of every match, So it's very important to have both.
That's nice to think about, because part of the reason I pick outside of hugging, of course, but like part of the reason why I pick some of the I'm not hugging you ever, but part of the reason I pick some of the characters I've been picking more recently is because I had that, like, you're wearing that shook hat. I've been pretty shook since like
I know
2013, I guess 2013, I guess.
We spoke about the shook.
Yeah. So I was like, but so basically I was like, if you have a character that is highly advantageous and neutral and is mostly or almost always safe when they do stuff to you, and then also is unreactable, then what do you do? Because I went up against that. Like, if you have a character that is highly advantageous / safe and neutral, highly safe offense, and then also unreactable, and you give it to a person who's like an extremely high level fighting game player, then how do you beat that? And I went up against that, and I lost pretty badly.
What game?
It was Persona. It was Persona.
Okay.
Notice I switched to Valkyrie after Persona. Yeah.
I already know what you're talking about.
So my character choices these days kind of roll into that, because I was like, long story short, like, there's a lot of things that go into it, but like, if you really take everything, figure out everything, and your character has these characteristics, then what's the other guy supposed to do? And that's like just where I've been recent. That's why, like, if you're talking about that, if you're talking like base, no nuance, just like basic assumptions, thinking player versus feeling type of player, I would usually give it to the thinking person, because if you give that person that character, what does the other person do about that? Like, how do you fight that?
Against a character like that? Yeah. Like a character that you can literally just think every problem.
Yeah, you plan, like, everything's prepared. Everything you do is safe. The other person always has to guess. They can't dice roll you. There's no like, I'm gonna do wake up mash or wake up DP. Like, you have to hold everything. The neutral is safe, and then the person playing the character is at an extremely, like, a world class level. How do you beat that?
That's the question you want to ask me?
No, that's a question I need to answer.
Well, in my mind, if I had to fight that, and I think to be honest with you, I think I encountered that in Blaze Blue. I think that person is a really strong thinking player.
Easier, right?
Yeah.
That Easier qualifies. Easier qualifies. Easier qualifies.
So, I think the mindset. I think the mindset that you have to go is you have to play that thinking game, right? But I feel like that thinking game is very, very important in the neutral, because like I said, I play like I feel like Jin is kind of a field based, right? In a certain sense, it's like you could play the thinking game, but you also have to play the field game, right?
I feel like shotos in general are just like, you have to combine both. You have to combine both. Yeah. And
I feel like against players like what you was talking about, how how do you beat these things? I call them things because they're just thinking robots, right?
I'm sorry.
So is you literally have to kind of play the game with them, but you're at a disadvantage, correct? So you have to mix up. You can't play one way. You have to play like multiple ways to like counteract what they're doing. And that's one thing about fighting games that you have to do, is take advantage of every tool set and every mechanic in the game. So like playing for the clock is very important, because they can't really have a solution to stop time, right? So you have to play around the clock. For example, you have to make sure like minimizing damage as much as you can, stuff like that. Like very, very big strategies like that. Like it dictates like how can you beat players like that. And you know, one thing I always have in my mind is like I have to play for the clock. Otherwise, you know, I'm going to lose. You know, because every situation, like you said, it's all playing out. It's all fixed. It's not there. There's a story, and you flip the page, and the story never changes because they have everything locked down for you.
Yeah.
Right? Everything, every like operate situation locked down. Every escape option locked down. So you know what you got? You literally got a thing that is safe, and you can always take minimum damage no matter what, and that's a neutral, right? You don't really gotta overextend this situation. Like every scenario that comes up can change, but when you get hit and knocked down,
you just go.
Yeah, exactly. So the only thing you could dictate is what happens in neutral, and that's why I feel like if you fight somebody like that, the clock, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Right?
It's also just like really rare to play someone like that too. There's it's not fun. That many
fun. It's
examples.
Fun, I'll tell you that.
There's not that many examples. It's really, really, really few. Once in a while, I don't know about you, Ryan, but like once in a while, I mean, almost definitely, right? Like, have you ever had someone you played and you just you're just like, I haven't even been playing fighting games. Like, what the fuck was that? Like, that shit was crazy. Like, they just change our mind about how to play fighting games totally just by playing like one person.
Yeah. Yeah, but just going back like 2 seconds, I was trying to think while you were like describing that, Kizzy, and I don't think I've ever played anybody like that because I don't think any of the games that I've ever played had a character that was that dominant.
Problem.
Can you imagine?
It's not even about dominance necessarily.
It's just the player skill and
it
like
combined with the character type.
Yeah, maximizing like a perfect character. Can you imagine?
Okay.
Like,
so then yes, I felt that feeling very recently, and this is what you were just asking me. Okay, playing Nage at Mikado.
I play him too. And yes, he's the prime example.
Yeah, he makes. I
literally felt like not that I didn't know how to play the game, but I felt like anything I thought I knew about that matchup, I felt like I knew nothing. I felt like I had never played the matchup before. Like I went from like feeling like, oh, I know exactly like what to do. Like I do really good against Elven Shadow. Like, you know, I like whatever, like Faust. I understand what I should be doing and like how the matchup works. And I played against him and I was like, did I even get to play? I sat down, like swiped my card, and then I got up and I was like, wait, did I just play a game? Because I don't even remember like hitting any buttons. It was just like every like neutral situation, he was just like doing the right thing, like countering whatever I was doing. And then like anytime I was in the air, he was 100% accurate with anti-airs, whether it was air throw, 2K, 5K, 6P, didn't matter. He always picked the right thing. It always worked. Never once did I ever once get a jump in on him or like a tech situation. Never once. And then when he knocked me down, like the mix up, like Faust has good mix up, like the like jump the the FTC shit, like especially with arcade cabinet lag, like he's got like the cheap shit like FTC empty jump or like FTC nothing land command throw and like bullshit like that. It's just like, dude,
wait. Did you say something about arcade cabinet lag? Can we just hear that again so I can get a nice clip?
Hold on.
We're also making an archive of talking about arcade cabinet lag.
Did I trigger something?
You triggered a Super Saiyan. Like hatred. A new Saiyan has been born.
We just need it for archive.
I don't understand. Are there people that still doubt that there is lag on the arcade cabinets?
Yes.
It's not if Japanese could just play in Cabinet Lab and adapt and win American tournaments, why can't we?
What is that a real thing that people say?
So one thing. This is quick. I'm not gonna go into it super.
No, I'm falling. I'm falling out. I don't know what you're doing, bro.
But the counterpoint was, well, Japanese players can play in arcade cabinet lag and come to America and win on consoles, so why can't we play on consoles and go over there and play normally?
Yeah. Well, keep in mind, people who went to Japan.
I don't think it's like a super good OS, but like,
that is an awful question. I can answer that in like 3 sentences. Hey, going from lag to no lag is an advantage, whereas going from no lag to lag is a disadvantage.
But wait, why can't we just play at American Net Play and do the same thing and win American tournament? That's the real mix-up question that
Anyway.
everybody's asking. No.
Anyway.
I mean,
No?
I mean, I guess.
I mean,
Oh,
I mean, I
man.
guess I'm gonna hit up Nage on PS4 Rev and be like, yo, man, I gotta get ready for this arcade lag. I know you're really good. Hit me up, bro. I'm just gonna DM that, right? Yo, hit me up.
Hit me up.
Hit me up. I'm trying to get.
No, because you said something, because you were talking about Nage, right? So what's really interesting is, like, Guilty Gear is a weird example because it's just, like, because of different type of characters, right? So technically, I wouldn't say Faust is that type of character, even though Naga is that type of player. Faust is not that type of character that should do that, but Naga is that type of player that did that. I mean, similar problem. I'm not taking it. I'm obviously not taking that anything away from your experience or like a Naga, of course. Like, he took a character that in my head doesn't do that, and you felt that. But I know that feeling. So like, when
I think that's just like the closest approximation in Guilty Gear. You know what I mean? At least from my experience.
No, that's exactly, like, I remember, like, even once in a while, like, I remember after I lost to Yume and I watched the match, I was like, honestly, it's not that I played bad. No, I like, this was smart. I was like, oh, that's pretty smart, Steve. That was good. But like, it's like, never takes any risks. Can't block the mix-up. Knows how to deal with everything all the time. Even when I did neutral, like the neutral wasn't bad. Like I didn't lose to that character for 6 months before I went to that tournament. It's just like, just couldn't do shit. Couldn't block, died. Shit just changed.
Who are you talking to right now? Are you talking to me?
Both of you.
Yeah.
Just saying in general.
Yeah.
I've never beat you in tournament, have I?
No, the player is called Yume. The player is called Yume. The player that I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I wasn't saying you. I meant like the player that I'm talking about is a Yume.
Oh.
Yeah, the player. He used to play Bridget,
like,
for reference. He used to play Bridget. Okay. He's a Bridget player.
So like, somebody in the chat was just like, can't you just add more input delay?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and then also I gotta buy a 34-inch TV because, the cabs are pretty bigger than my monitor. So I also gotta spend money for that. Prepare. So like, yeah, it doesn't work.
Just sit really close to your 20-inch screen. Just sit like 3 inches away.
And then what makes it worse too is I only go there once a year.
Right.
And I may not even go every year. It's all, like I said, it's all like if you get the opportunity or not, right? And you're trying to get prepped for like 2 months, and then you go over there and the level of play is higher anyway. So like, it's like, okay.
I mean, I didn't know how significant the lag would be. I had no idea. Like, I had heard people talk about that, but before I went, I did not know. Literally the whole first day that I was there, we went to Mikado, like, right after we woke up. Like, we woke up at 8, and then we were there by like 2 in the afternoon or something like that. And we were the only ones in there. It was me, Arm, Biscuits, and Manny. And like, legit, I just grinded out training mode for like hours. And then like, people started showing up because like, as soon as I played like my first time, I was like, holy shit, what is this? Like, I couldn't do anything. I literally like could not do a combo. And I was like, for like, my first thought was like, yo, is this whole trip just gonna be like a waste? Am I just gonna be like miserable the whole time because I feel like I can't even play? And then like, I played people like after a few hours, and it was the worst. I could not even concentrate on the match of what was going on because I was concentrating so fucking hard on the lag and trying to like remind myself to
punish
for the
punishing lag. Also, when you get up, you're spending $1, so like you have to you're trying to play to win, but you actually can't do that because you're at a disadvantage.
Yeah, so like by the end of the first day, I was like really like disillusioned. I was like, holy shit, like this is actually whack. Like, I spent all this like time and money coming out here, and I'm not even gonna like get anything out of this or enjoy this. Like, this is not what I thought it was gonna be. And then like, luckily, like after like a day, like by the next day, I was finally like used to it. Yeah, but like, not to say that like I definitely was not playing. Yeah, like not to say that I was playing like I would play on a console, but I was at least like I had become comfortable with the lag, and it like I became used to it. So like on defense, I was still struggling because you're
Right.
getting like less time to react.
Exactly.
But my offense, I
Right.
adjusted. So like I was hitting my combos. I was like my pressure was like timed correctly and stuff like that. Like that all
Right.
I was able to resolve.
Right.
But like the
Yeah.
reaction side of it, that never goes away. And then it's just like, oh,
Right. And you have
now
to tell
now
your
I understand
brain.
why like now I understand why like I'd be watching match videos of like, you know, players at Mikado in the morning, and it's like, why is this guy getting hit by this? Like this shit is like a whack ass mix up. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I get it now. Now I understand this.
It works.
This
It just
actually
works.
legit mix up.
And you actually got to tell your brain that you can't react to things. You have to
Yeah.
actually make
Yep.
a choice.
Yeah.
And imagine as a player, say for example, a player who always thinks, right, and it's like, you know, I could react to this or have good reaction. You know, I could react to this if I know this setup is coming. I could react this, right? That doesn't work in CAP. So you have to condition your brain and tell your brain that
Yep.
you can no longer react ever again. You have to pick and choose, and that's something that you cannot adjust to in a day. That takes probably a week or two, and then you're not even mastering that, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't understand that you literally have to tell your brain that this is not correct. That what I learned on console is not correct.
Yeah.
It's
That's
incorrect.
one of the hardest things in all fighting games actually, is to unlearn
Yeah.
something.
To
Unlearning something to like write over that and learn something new is the actual hardest thing in my opinion in all fighting games. And that's why like when I'm like teaching new players, I try to like warn them, like, develop good habits now, because like, and I try to like give them examples, like a perfect one is throw OS in Guilty Gear.
Right.
That's one of the first things I teach new players, even though it's like kind of like an advanced thing in some ways. It's like you don't want to learn the game not throw OSing, and then you have to go back in a month and be like, oh, this is like just something that I should just do 100% of the time.
Yeah.
And now like I have to like unlearn how I was throwing before and like get used to hitting, like just learn it from right off the bat. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like it's so like it's the same thing with what you're talking about. Like,
Right.
you know, you like spend thousands of hours playing a matchup and you have it in your head like, okay, this mix-up I can react to, like you know, Milia, like I can reasonably react to like 6K Bad Moon. Like I'm not gonna block 100% of the time, but like on console, like I can block Bad Moon like.
What was that?
I
I don't know. You cut out. You cut out a little bit.
All right, I'll repeat.
I heard him.
I'll repeat myself even more clear. How about I tell you I could block Bad Moon 100% of the time, but I will also get hit by Hair Car 100% of the time. Is that acceptable? Do you believe that?
That is acceptable because I could get hit. Look, okay, man. He was like, I'm about to make this unreactable. I'm about to set it up where my Bad Moon is 2 frames.
I will say when I play Ryan, he's very, very consistent. There's some people I run into who are very, very consistent at blocking Bad Moon in block strings. But then when you knock them down, you just picked up. You're just like, this guy thinks he could fucking block this shit. I'm just so fucking. I swear to God, I'm fucking just like you know you have to tell that kind of thing. When people tell me they can block Bad Moon and block strings, I'm like, I gotta give it to you. You got technique. Ryan has very good defensive technique. I will say that you have good defensive technique. Ryan is a shining example. Ryan going back like a second, like if you had an FGC classroom and it's a bunch of like new people, it doesn't have to be, it could be for Guilty Gear to make it easy for you. What would be the first 3 things you teach them? You said OS throw would be one of them.
Well, I mean, how new are they?
New.
Like they played a fighting game before and they're transitioning to Guilty Gear, or they never played a fighting game before?
Let's assume they are
like they played a fighting
base
game.
level, like they have played a fighting game. That's
Yeah,
better.
yeah.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah, that's better.
What are the first 3 things I would teach
First
them?
3 things, yeah.
I mean, that's still a tough question because it depends on what game they're coming from too. But I would probably teach them 6P, throw OS, and fuzzy jump. Fuzzy jump.
That's good. That's pretty good. It's pretty good, right?
Fuzzy jump, yeah.
Fuzzy jump, really
fuzzy jump, throw us,
Okay.
and just doing 6P, like you should anti-air.
Yeah. Just teach them what 6P is like. This is your anti-air.
Oh, yeah. I would teach them 6P also, but I'll also teach them about like not only 6P as your anti-air, is you have multiple anti-air options, and you want them to like understand. You know what I mean? Like what is my other anti-air option? Air throwing, air to air. You know, it's like like anti-air. It's not only just 6P. You know, so I would teach them like the basics of like everything of what you can do to stop it. You know, to anti-air somebody, because it's very hard for somebody to like go back and be like, yo, like my anti-air is losing. My anti-air is always losing. There's no way I can anti-air this character.
That's such a big thing. If you're like a new school, let's say like BlazBlue honestly is the 09er of anime, right? If you played BlazBlue or you played Persona and you go to Guilty Gear, one of the first fucking issues you have is fucking anti. Because in those two games, I don't know how much you know about them, Ryan. It's fucking free. Like all air moves are air moves, and your anti-air
they're just air crush,
air,
right?
just
actual air crush.
100%. So like.
Jan has to work hard for his anti-air.
There are small exceptions to these.
He has like
rules.
multiple DPs, doesn't he? I don't know much, but
he has 4 DPs. That was the original game. He has 4 DPs. He has 4 DPs.
If I input error, I lose the game.
But in Guilty Gear, like it's hitbox based, so it's really it's tough. Like just like even stuff like. Even like all the normals in these games have like, oh, like this is a low move and this move just beats everything that's low immediately for free, as opposed to Guilty Gear where it's like a hitbox hurtbox interaction. Like that's like that's a big thing. I think that's a really big point. Honestly, like right now, like if you ask me that question, I would just dump a fat textbook called Fuzzy on it and just be like, read this.
The Bible.
Just read this. That shit about SF5 where like fuzzy backdash was like the hotness. Like, yo, you could backdash and throw tech. I'm like, literally the first day I played SF5, I was doing that. I'm not even kidding. I was fucking doing that. Like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Everyone needs that book.
Yeah. In chat, Bapajig said, replace fuzzy jump with backdashing. Nah, I if I would have thought my list more ahead, I think the number one thing, the first thing I would teach them is fuzzy jump, because it goes back to the point I was making before about how important it is to learn good habits early. Because what I see a lot of players that are new to Guilty Gear doing, that especially ones that come from like Street Fighter specifically, is they try to tech throws, and it's weird because
try to tech throws.
It's in a way it's good, but you have to understand when it's good for it to be good. And what I tell people when they're first learning is your rule of thumb when you feel like you're going to be thrown is you should fuzzy jump. Like throwing defensively is not necessarily because you think you're going to be thrown. It's because they did something that left them in your face and you're not in block stun. It's not the same. You're not trying to like tech their throw. You're like defensively throwing.
Yeah, like you're reacting. You're reacting to throw.
Yep. Right. So it's like it's like that I feel like is such an important habit to develop early, because again, it's one of those things where like to unlearn that is just like such a pain. Like
that's a really good point. That's a good point. I don't know, like you said you had a lot of children. I don't know how many people you've taught, like literally taught directly, as far as, because of course children doesn't necessarily mean you raise them all the time, because you're a dad, you're not a mom, you're not always there, you're busy, you're working and stuff. But
paying the bills.
I would imagine like if there was someone you literally raised, giving them that kind of habit.
Who's your favorite son? I would say. Who's your number one? Who's the man that you watch? You change
whose drawings do I put on the fridge?
Yeah. who bowl of cereal? Who you make? Whose cereal you make? Who's the guy?
My main training partner, Kimosabe.
Kimosabe.
I
know
I
that
think.
person.
Yeah, the Soul player. I think you probably play casuals with him.
Yeah. He's
the Florida tournaments.
He's my he's Man Crush Monday. He's fucking jacked.
Yes.
That's that guy, right? Yeah. That's the anime Man Crush Monday.
He actually is like, no joke. He's he's been like one of my main training partners for like 3-4 years now. And honestly, if it wasn't for him, I would not be where I am today, like as far as like how well I do, because
Kimosabe.
Because like he's like super motivated, so he's always hitting me up to play like all throughout the week. So first of all, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't play as much, just raw, just like how much I play. I play like probably 5 times as much because of him. and then also just like, I don't know, he just like he gives me good practice like learning things, and it's just like a consistency thing. So yeah, he's definitely like he's my star student.
What character he plays?
Soul, but actually he plays like Soul and Johnny. Yeah. Well, he didn't switch. He just like plays them both. So
did he come to see you?
Also, yeah. Also, if it wasn't for him, no way would I beat KV. The only reason, straight up, the only reason I beat KV is because I have endless hours playing against Johnny now because of chemo, and I know that KV has like very little Venom experience. So that legit, like, that's the only reason that I beat KV the way I did at C Otaku. I knew every situation. I knew exactly what to do. I knew everything he was doing. It was just like, yeah.
And Venom's a good character for the job too. I know Johnny players don't like fighting Venom that much too. On top of that, right?
Johnny players don't like fighting Venom.
They don't. Most Johnny players I talk to don't like that match that much. Some are okay.
I could see that because well, again, it depends. Like, if you don't know the matchup as the Johnny player, I'm gonna run you over because
for sure.
there's some funky shit in that matchup. Like, Johnny cannot crouch 6P.
Huh.
So 6P just destroys him.
Yeah, it becomes you just throw it out.
It goes through Mistfinder, mid Mistfinder, so you cannot poke with that. It just straight up goes through it with the invuln. It beats far slash most of the time. Like, it's just brutal for him. Like, you have to do way more like 2S and 2D than you normally would, and even then, those are like slower than my 6P. So if you didn't do them first, I'm still gonna win, and I'm gonna get a counter hit.
Right.
It's just like,
you're guaranteed down.
There's like weird stuff like that in the matchup that, like, yeah, if you don't know that kind of stuff, like, it's so easy for the Venom player. But once you know that kind of stuff and you know how to work around it, I think it's a pretty even matchup. Okay. And it's actually, Mistfinder is actually super annoying for Venom because it just like negates everything.
Yeah, for
like,
free.
It hits balls and stuff. Hits balls.
Yeah,
and stuff.
like it's not even like they nullify each other. Like, you like nullify my ball and I get hit and like pushed to the corner. It's just, like, super.
Yeah, that's pretty. Miss to the fire.
Misfire. That's pretty.
And let's not talk about like him getting level 2 or level 3.
Yeah.
Let's talk about level 3.
Then I don't get to play. You know. Then I'm playing a new game, and the new game is how can I bait out this Mistfinder so I can start playing again.
Yeah.
That's the struggle.
Let's talk about level 3. Woo.
Oh man, Johnny.
Oh, yeah, Johnny, man. Cool character.
Yeah. No, yeah, but I do hear that a decent amount. Most Johnny players don't like fighting against Venom. Probably because, like, I guess they don't get to get their normal match flow in such a straightforward manner. The way you were saying, especially, like, how he kind of has to work in level 1. I mean, he probably has to work in general, but, like, he has to work around this move, and, like, it's uncomfortable for him. He can't use his normal tools, like... I get it. I get it.
Have to always play. I feel like against like that matchup, I feel like Johnny always have to accept the fact that he's not going to always have the life lead.
Yes.
You have to use that as your advantage.
Yeah, like, that's actually something that I learned from Chemo. Actually, he asked me, the other thing about Chemo is that he asks me like really good questions that makes me think, and then that like helps me like think of things and like learn things also. And like we were talking one day, and he was like, "Man, Johnny would be like unbelievably broken if he had a run instead of a dash." And it's like when you like think about it, it's like so obvious. Like, yeah, this character would be broken, but I'd never thought about that before. And that made me realize. Like, I went home and I like it was just like stuck in my head. I was like, Johnny with a run. I was like, what the fuck? And then I was like, holy shit! Like, the dash is actually like his biggest weakness. It's actually like a liability. Because then I started like paying attention to that in like when we played like the next time, and I was like, oh, if he's like 3/4 of the screen away, he like can't close the distance into his poke range like slowly. He can either dash or he can ID. Because his walk speed is garbage.
Yeah, it's slow. It is slow.
Yeah. He's just walking, minding his business. He's walking across the street. He's walking across the street.
So when I realized that, I was like, oh, like, I realized that like I can take advantage of that so hard by just anticipating at that like 3/4 range when he's gonna dash, and I get so much free damage now off of that. Just like sticking out like a far slash or 2/, and he just dashes into it. Like it's not a lot of damage, but it's like whatever, dude. Like I need that damage. Like like I can't keep up with his damage output, so I have to get whatever I can.
Isn't that like oh, go ahead, my bad.
I was just gonna end by saying that's like exactly what Kizzy's talking about.
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
As the Johnny player, you have to acknowledge that like you're gonna take those straight hits. It's part of the matchup. That's like part of like your weakness is like you do have to struggle to approach if the other person understands that your approach is a struggle. Because honestly, that kind of thing never occurred to me until I had that conversation, and then I was like, holy shit, like I have to exploit the dash. Like the dash is a liability. So like if you're letting him dash around for free, like he's gonna run you over. Just like let him get into his optimal range for free. Like that's you can't let him do that. So
yeah, like isn't that like one of the really interesting points of Guilty Gear? Like how some like the nuance points of some matchups, like especially because we're talking about Johnny right now, right? Like I came from Canada Cup. I lost to Peppery at Canada Cup, right? And one of the big points that I saw from playing again, and it actually is about like his movement too. It's similar to you. So like he got a lot of air throws on me, and people are like, his air throw game is sick. His air throw, oh, another air throw, goddamn! And I was watching the matches, and I'm like, every time he air throws me, he's never moving. He's never moving. He's just in a spot. And then step 2 was Johnny can't fucking run. It's not like Milia where I don't air throw a lot because not only do I have a lot of good anti-airs, but I'm also moving all the time. So I'm never in a good spot to like anti-air air throw. I have a button I can use, or I can move out of the way or something. But Johnny is either he has a button or he could just go up because he can't move like that. So then like when we played again, I mean he wasn't playing Johnny when we played again, but when we played again. He did that thing where he just stood in that spot and waited. It was actually, we played casuals right after, and I paused the game. I was like, the only time he air throws me is when you just fucking stand there because he can't run. He's like, huh? I'm like, yeah, and I just didn't get air from him anymore.
Yeah,
it's like little. I think that's that really interesting.
Like,
I find that a lot in Guilty Gear. I find like there's a lot of stuff like that per character. Where like there's like some little thing that when you realize it, you're like wow, and you start like adapting your matchup strategy to like that.
It's like open your eyes.
Yeah, it helps a lot.
Yeah. I mean, you don't understand. I've been trying to talk to people about subjects like that, but it just seems like they can't really see the bigger picture.
Sometimes you gotta play a match a certain amount though beforehand. Like it's hard. Like for example, if like talking to other Melee players, for example, right? Like a lot of Melee players have problem against Soul, and it makes sense. It makes sense why when you're starting you would struggle. So it's really hard to tell them like you don't have to be scared of his far slash because even though he has a billion options off far slash, he can't combo off any of them. And when he does it, you can just jump away. It's hard to tell them that when they're too worried about like Fafnir and like random 2D and stuff. Like you gotta start and then get to that point where you start thinking about those little nuances, matchup nuances, where it's like, oh, this little thing I can take advantage of and stuff.
But sometimes those little things make a big impact.
They do make a big impact.
Agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
It would help like a mid-level person if I told them something like that. Like, they're like, wow, I never thought of it like that. And like, yeah.
It's funny because there was I'm not going to say any names, but there was a sim player coming to me. It was like, man, I don't know how you fight Pop. And I heard it, I read it. I was like, man, he's having a hard time against grapplers. So I was like, I want to watch you play. I'm going to watch like what you do, right? So obviously, like a lot of players that I realized, we kind of talked this about, but they don't really see. They only see what their character's doing, but not the opponents. Mm-hmm. So they like playing this like one game where like everything that they do is supposed to go well, and there shouldn't be like no like issues that happens. So when you're like going in on like a grappler. And especially Potemkin likes that, right? Potemkin likes
right.
Go to him and like he press buttons in his face. So people are very surprised of like the options that Potemkin have, and it's just like, well, this match is supposed to be free. What's going on? Why am I getting hit? Why this move is so godlike? Now, and you try to tell him, it's like, yeah, like you don't have to get close to them, right? And they don't really understand what I mean. Oh, this guy, like, he's telling me I don't have to go close. I don't really get, like, he's not helping me. And I'm like, yeah, like, he's a grappler. He's supposed to be good up close. you just sit far away. You like you don't have to really worry about it, right? And like people don't really understand like that something very basic. You know, they get closed up and like locked up until like all the options their characters can do. On offense, and it's very hard to like break that. Very hard.
Yeah. The impression that I get from that is that like that player, they're not like deep in matchups yet. Like they have like their one play style, and like that's just how they play all their matchups.
We literally were talking about this yesterday. Kizzy and I were literally talking about that yesterday, like straight up, exactly what you said. 100% what you said.
100% what you said.
Yeah.
Because they're just locked up into one thing, and they'll play a certain matchup all the time. And I was saying, I was like, there's sometimes where there's a play style that I don't like playing, but in this matchup, it's very efficient if I play this way. Yeah. So like playing outside of I'm playing outside of the styles that I don't enjoy, but it's helpful to like learn that. And a lot of people just get stubborn. It's like, well, my character can't do that, and I always say to myself, you think my character could just like swing plus normals all day? Like, no, I can't do that. But I have to make it work from what I have, the toolsets I have, and we can bring back to what conditioning somebody not to do something, right? And people just don't see that, they only see it there in their particular side, and it's very bad. It's very bad. It's a very bad habit.
Yeah.
But hopefully, the newer players start, they'll hear this podcast and they'll be like, maybe I should reflect and maybe I should like play a certain way.
You gotta get there. That's the thing. You say you gotta get there. Somebody has to make you get there. That's the main thing.
That is true.
Yeah. If there's nothing to make you get there, then you just kind of play the same. Like I was kind of talking about this a little bit Saturday, where like now it's pretty common for Japanese players to come over here, or like now a lot of American players go over there. But like back in the day, like that didn't really happen, and also there was no or shitty net play. So if you're just playing your boys over and over, unless you have someone who's crazy driving you up, you just mostly do the same shit that works on your boys, and then you go to a major and see what happens.
Yeah.
So if someone is playing and learning the game a certain way, and especially if they have a small player pool, and then they have to run into someone who like takes them to that spot. I think most people who play games can do that. It's just like they have to be taken. Someone has to make you go there.
Well, this is like something that I've definitely talked about before, and it's goes back to also the Japan discussion. It's like what you're describing is what everyone has always acknowledged about the weakness of the United States scene, or the North America scene, whatever you want to call it, as a whole compared to Japan, and it's just density, right? It's just like the way I see it is like you need certain things to create a top level player. It's like you need certain ingredients, right? So right. number one, you need like the player has to have like the innate like ability, right? They have to have like the potential, right? So that's number one. And part of that is like there's like pieces of that go with the other pieces. So it's like you need people to play, and then when you play those people, part of your potential has to be that you can kind of like see what you're learning and what you're not, because that's the biggest problem. And I think this is like what you were just saying. Okay, it's like you play your boys and you like get really good at the matchups, but like 99% of players, I think, don't know what they don't know. And that's the most dangerous thing, because then you go into a matchup thinking that you know everything, and you don't when you play somebody new. Sometimes you do, sometimes you do, because the person that you play all the time, they're that good that you really do like learn the whole matchup, and you like know everything there is to know, or you at least know the most important parts, and the parts that you don't know are not relevant.
Right.
But that's a rarity. That is like a super rarity.
Guilty Gear is like a rare example of that too. Like their games, I've definitely had this discussion before. There are some games where you can just play like the best. Like for example, like I play BlazBlue, I play CF2. I haven't touched CF2, but I want to take CF2 seriously right now. I need to learn how to fight easily. I hit up SKD, I can play him for like 5 hours, and then I'm good. That's it. We're good. We're good. I will not lose, right? But in Guilty Gear, you could play like the best soul. You could play Haken, for example, right? Play like the best fucking soul, and then you could play special move soul and fucking lose, and then you have no idea why you lost. You're like, I played the best soul. Like, what happened?
I think that heavily depends on the character.
Yes, I agree too.
I agree with that.
Some characters, you could play any Joe off the street and you will learn the same shit no matter who you play. And then there's other characters that, like, you play me and you think you know everything about the matchup, and you go play Black Snake and it's like you never played the matchup before.
Yep.
We play completely opposite.
Different. Yeah.
Now I want to hear you guys. What do you guys what characters are you thinking of the guys is like, you know, like it's always the same thing every time you see the character?
For the one that pops into my mind just right off the bat is Leo.
Wow. I wasn't expecting that.
But I don't even know that I agree with myself because because I thought, because this is another example of I didn't know what I didn't know, because I thought that I knew enough about that matchup to like feel at least some level of comfort, right? And then I played Tomo at Evo and Casuals, and he beat me worse than anybody ever that I've ever played. I could not hit this guy. He made me block, and the round was over. That was it. I could not get out of his pressure. I couldn't block his shit. It was destruction.
Wow.
So maybe I'm already wrong on calling Leo. I don't know why.
When you said Leo, I was actually very surprised. I was very surprised when you said Leo.
You know who helped me out actually get prepared for Tomo? It was actually Zidane. He's actually the closest person that actually helps me out for Tomo. So I was able to do extremely well versus Tomo.
Yeah.
But like the general like Leo are all the same. So there's always this one formula that there's always two formulas that can happen, right? It's the one that goes and commit to all the records, and the ones that don't and always go for like the little side switch, right? And like once you shut those two options down, it's like whatever, right? Somebody said Raven. That is a good.
Yes.
Raven. If I had to think of a couple of characters, Raven would be one. Elfelt would be another. No, you play Hotashi. You play Hotashi. Hotashi's special. He Hotashis you. He's special. Outside of that,
he's Hotashi.
Yeah. Outside of that,
no. But you know what? You know what the other thing is?
What?
Like just one little detail. And this is, I guess, maybe because you're thinking like high level. But if you include like mid level Elfelts, then I have two classifications for Elfelts, and this is coming from Venom Player. There's perfect reload Elfelt, and there's no perfect reload Elfelt.
But then we also could say there are unblockable Elfelts and there's no unblockable Elf. Because I know a couple of Elfelts.
I mean that's true too. That's true too. But from Venom's perspective, if you can't perfect reload, you ain't beating me, dude. But if you can perfect reload, I gotta struggle because she actually wins. She actually wins the full screen if you can perfect reload.
Yeah, sniper, right?
Yeah.
I would say because I mean. If I had to sum it up really quickly, it would probably be like just characters that convert really consistently. Most people play them the same. Most people play them the same. Almost every Ino plays the same. Almost every Ino plays the same. But I wouldn't put her in that group. But I just say just as a general description, Raven and Elfelt are probably my top two similarly playstyle-esque characters. Like there's some characters like Venom would be an example, Soul would be another example, Kai would be another example where you have to play a lot of people at a lot of different skill levels before you can actually say you're good against the character. I definitely have had times where I was feeling myself against Soul, I played just some guy and I fucking lost like 5 straight to him. I was like, what just happened? I thought I knew this matchup. That happened to me many times. Same with Kai. Same with honestly even Milia. Like Milia had the nightmare of I think everyone will play like me and no one plays like me and I lose to all of them. at the beginning. You have to actually learn how to fight Milia. But Guilty Gear doesn't have a bunch of examples of that. I think some games that's just all it is. Like Street Fighter would be more closer to Guilty Gear. Like you gotta play a lot of people who play Carabao. As opposed to like if you decide to play, I don't know, like like Ultimax. Like you wanted to learn how to fight Margaret, you just play me, and then you got it. Like then next,
right.
like there's a.
See, I think a decent example in Guilty Gear is actually Zato.
Huh.
Is actually, I think if you learn against a good Zato, I think you should be prepared for any Zato. And I think it's like the example that I gave where you might not learn all the nuances of the matchup from just one person, but if the person's good, you'll learn the important aspects. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could agree with that too. Like, if you learn all the important stuff about Zato and you don't let him get away with shit and stuff, and you play like someone who's really good, and you play like a random, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Because once they like start doing Zato shit, it's like kind of all the same. Like there's not like there's not much variation on like the pressure or like the mix up or
I agree with that.
And in the first place, like they have to be really competent with Zato to even like perform at a tournament level, right? So if it's just like some guy, you're playing like some guy's Zato and you're good against Zato, like you played against a really high level Zato for a long time, then they're not gonna do shit to you. You just mop them and you're like, okay, next. Yeah, that's a good. That's a.
Like I've never sat down and played a Zato and been like, whoa, he's doing some weird shit I never seen before. Like that doesn't happen. You know what I mean? Like he's doing the Zato things. Like it's always a matter of like how like well is he picking his options in neutral, and that's it. But it's like once you start to get into like the close range, it's like it's all the same.
Yeah, I agree. Guilty Gear is good for that though. Guilty Gear is good. I've been thinking that Guilty Gear is a really good fighting game to learn fighting games. It's probably one of the best fighting games to learn fighting games from. Is this game with all the bullshit in it? It's a really good fighting game to learn fighting games because a lot of the core things that you need to become strong, you can get from playing this game. I've been thinking about it a lot. I've been thinking about it a lot the past like couple months. Don't know how you feel about that.
I mean, yes and no. I think yeah, I guess yes, because I was just thinking like, because in some ways I could see like it teaching you bad habits if you move to other games. In some ways, like the way I think about that question is like, what would a player take away from this game if they went to play like other games? Like would they have any bad habits? And I think you would definitely develop some bad habits like moving to other games, but I think it's like.
Which I've seen, by the way. I've seen the opposite too. Like I've seen Guilty Gear players play like BB and stuff, and like I remember playing like Zynak in
they try to like
BlazBlue,
backdash on Wake Up and shit like that.
And like so Zynak. The first thing I remember from playing him in BlazBlue is why does he fucking mash so hard? Because he just mashed like crazy. I'm like, what is it about Guilty Gear where people just mash a lot? When I play Guilty Gear, I get why sometimes people do these things. But then, like, in BB, it was like, what the fuck is this guy doing? This is stupid. Like, yeah. I get it. I get that. That's true.
So, but back to your point, though, I do think it is a very good fighting game to learn because it will teach you, like, there are certain things that you just, like, will not learn playing, like, Street Fighter or, playing Marvel. Like, there's certain, like, fundamental things that are common in like a lot of other games that just don't exist in those games, whereas like Guilty Gear you kind of get like a little bit of everything. You get like the footsies, you get like the knockdown situations, you get like the the scramble situations, you get like all that kind of stuff. You even get like the bullshit like cross-ups and unblockables and like like that, and also the fact that you have so many defensive options, like I feel like is a good way to learn, because then like you ever have like a Guilty Gear player go to like Street Fighter and they're like, yo, blocking is like so easy. Not Street Fighter 5 because there's no defense in Street Fighter 5, but like Street Fighter 4. Just saying. But like Street Fighter 4, yeah, Street Fighter 4 for example, or like like an older game that you can actually play defense in. It's like wow, I can just actually just block every overhead and tech every throw, and you actually just can't open me up. It's like
Yeah, because I was thinking like also it's like why are like let's take AC for example, right? Why are AC players, people who are like really, really good in AC, especially if you're talking like top level Japan player, right? What happened in that game that made them so good in other games? And it's just like between the characters being crazy strong, they got to play for a long time, and they've been playing fighting games for a long time. It's just that the game got to develop to a point where their matchup strategy and game knowledge, fighting game technique, and fundamental rose to such a point that you could apply those type of things to all their games. Like Guilty Gear makes you just from a development standpoint. Like
Yeah,
some
exactly.
some games are getting there too. Like BB is almost BB is gonna be 10 years old in 2 years.
I know, that's crazy, right?
That's crazy.
Yeah, BB is gonna be 10 years old. Persona is 5 years old. Persona was ridiculous at the end too. Like the defensive OS game, you could throw text in everything. So there are Persona players who come over here to Guilty Gear and they're talking about like, yeah, you know, like I use fuzzy jump here and like, oh, I used the fuzzy mash here to deal with this. And there's some Guilty Gear players they talk to and they're like, what's a fuzzy mash? Like they don't even know what they're talking about. Like that development point is pretty important for like high level play, you know?
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
I think especially the older Guilty Gears, like you're saying, like Accent Core.
Yeah.
Because some of the, I guess I'll just say like mashier, for lack of a better term, like aspects of Xrd don't exist in that game, like tech buttons and like shit like that. Yeah. So like that game is like still crazy. Like it's still fast and everything. But like there's a little more stability, whereas like Xrd is a little more volatile. So like those players, I agree with you 100%. It's like if you have like categories of like all the different like skills in fighting games, like I was saying, like neutral, the wake up game, like just all the different skills. If you imagine, I think like all of them exist in Guilty Gear. So it's like you start with Guilty Gear, you get like insanely good in Accent Core, you play that game for like 10 years, and you go to Street Fighter, and it's almost like it's like you take like your set of like 10 skills that you've like mastered, and it's like, this game only uses 6 of those skills. So it's like your brain is just like freed up to like cosmic brain.
Yeah.
So
because that's kind of just like what I feel like it take. This game is especially because I play a lot of games too. This game is such good fighting game training, especially if you pick the right character. I think Millia was great for me, to be honest, because I wanted that thing I was talking about before, and I didn't quite get it, but I got something really good for me as a player. Like I feel like she helped some of my personal weaknesses as a player. This game is good for that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like Xrd did that for me also. Like this kind of goes back to the thinking versus feeling discussion, where like if you would have asked me 5, 6, 7 years ago, I would have told you, I'm 100% thinking. That's it, period, at the end. There's no feeling involved in my play. Like it's all by the numbers. Like I try to be conscious of everything I'm doing. But it's like now with Xrd, and just like over time of like having thought about this like idea more over time, I feel like I've almost allowed myself to drift a little bit into the feeling realm, and like I pay less attention to frame data now. Like if you'd have asked me if Xrd came out 5 years ago and you asked me like what's the frame data for Venom, I would have rattled it all off. I would have known all the numbers. I don't know like any of his frame data. I know like I know like close slash 5 frames, 2S and sweeper are 6 frames, and I think 6P is 8 frames. I don't even know. It's either 8 or 9. And that is literally the extent of my knowledge of Venom's frame data. So I've kind of like allowed myself to drift into that like feeling realm, and I feel like it really strengthened me as a player, like a lot, because I feel like I don't get as caught up now with the like minutia of the details. I just allow myself to like just see what works and just like internalize it like more subconsciously. But I combine that with like if there's a specific situation that I realize is causing me a problem, then I'll like go in the lab and I'll be like, okay, this situation I need to grind out, because this is like a situation that comes up like multiple times around, and I need to understand this situation fully. So I like don't get as caught up in like the minutia, and like the same goes with like matchups, like talking about like Sin, for example. It's like, okay, I know, or like Fafnir, like Soul, I know it's like +2 on block and -2 on instant block. Or no, they changed outcount now, right? It's like 0 or -4 now, right?
Yeah, 0 to -4.
Yeah.
But
I'm thinking older.
But there's a unique thing about outcount is the further it is, the more advantage it.
Yeah, it's like most moves like that. It's like most moves like that.
Oh,
see,
okay.
I didn't even know that.
Oh.
I didn't even know that. So it's like awkward for me, because I know a lot of people look at me and it's like, oh, fighting game scientist. You just like,
I was about to ask you about that too.
Because that's how I was in Street Fighter 4 when I started commentating. Like I knew literally every move's frame data. I knew the startup of every normal in the game. everything. Like and like the important normals, I knew what every important normal was on block. Like anything you would realistically do in a block string, I knew what it was on block. So it's like, I know that like a lot of people like think of me that way, but the reality is I just don't think that Guilty Gear is that type of game. And it's like, you can think of it very simply. It's like, why would I want to know all the frame data of all these normals when chain cancels exist? Like in Street Fighter, you had to know that because there's no chains. So you had to know what everything was on plus and block.
Yeah.
But it's like, Guilty Gear, it's like, I need to know what like Elk Hunt is on block. I need to know what Fafnir is on block. You know, but it's like, I don't need to know what Sin's, you know, close slash is on block. It's like completely irrelevant. Like he's never gonna do, you know, close slash nothing. And if he does, I can just assume that it's plus because it's a close slash.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so I like tried to like not let myself get as caught up in minutia. And it's a little awkward because I still like commentate with that style of like heavy detail, and sometimes I like trip myself up because I don't know as much as I expect myself to, or you know, so it's like kind of awkward, but like yeah, so
yeah, you beat me to the punch. I was about to ask you about that too, because that's how I don't. If we're talking about in person, it's probably meant for Guilty Gear, but if we're talking about like internet, I just followed you for some reason. I guess you just had some fighting game scientist shit, and like you were posting good stuff, and I was like, hey, once in a while he posts some hot fire, and I'm just gonna like follow this guy, and I was gonna just ask you about that period. Like, where did that reputation come from? Title come from? Like, you have OS in your fucking name, for God's sakes. Like, yeah. But you kind of like beat me to the punch on that a little bit.
Yeah, like back like Street Fighter 4.
Yeah.
I was like 100% thinking. There was no feeling involved in my play.
This is +2 on block.
Yeah, I was literally like, I'd be playing the game like doing the calculations in my brain, like, you know, like analyzing the situation. Like, okay, he did a +2 move, and then he did a move that's 7 frame startup. I should do this next time he does it. Like literally like in the middle of the match. Like that's what I was doing, and it's just like that like style that is completely irrelevant in Guilty Gear. You can't do that. Just there's no. You know, like you can for like a few key, like again, like Elk Hunt, Fafnir, you know what I mean? Like there's certain like characters that have those kind of situations, but it's not like Street Fighter 4. That was literally the game, you know. So.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I remember having that kind of discussion. Like, I mean, like I used to be a multiplayer player. Like nobody in multiplayer knows fucking frame data. Like, you can literally cancel everything into everything. So why does it matter that like 2B is fucking -13 when you could cancel it into your jab that's -1? Like, there's no reason to know all that shit. Like, I get you on that. Man, so let's do this. It's like 10. Is there stream chat questions for Mr. Ryan Hunter? We got a little bit of time. If you want to give some questions to him, he's not doing commentary for once.
Drop some questions.
Now's the time. Rayon. You call him Rayon?
Can I ask you a question while we wait for the questions to come in?
Okay.
I don't know if this is gonna.
Who?
LK.
Okay.
I don't know. This might spawn like a really deep conversation though.
Maybe.
So
hey, no, just do it. Just do it. I'm ready. No, I'm ready. Do it. I don't care. Right. I don't care. If it's good, it's good. Okay. If it's good, it's good.
Okay. Let me see if I can even articulate this question. Okay. So, you are like the only person that I've like seen this happen with that like made me think about this, where it's like, God, I don't even know how to ask. Okay, like you like Rev 2 came out and Milia changed completely, right? And so Milia, your initial impression after like the first few months, like you gave it time, like you know, you recognize like I gotta play around, I gotta like see what's up, but my initial feeling is that she's nerfed, right? Is that true?
Yes.
Okay, so and
then he's laughing because he knows what I was saying at that time.
Answer was just like
Keep going.
So well, let me stop for a second and ask, what is your current opinion of Milia?
Okay, so I actually think she's pretty good on paper. Like, if you wanted me to give her a rank, I could say that she can be top 10, but she's too inconsistent. That's her biggest problem right now. So a lot of successful Milia play right now, I mean, I kind of have like next steps on what I should do personally to try to deal with this, but right now, like, especially the more stuff I find,
let me rephrase.
Okay, yeah.
Let me rephrase the question.
Okay.
Do you think she is as a character?
Yeah.
Because the impression that I got when Rev 2 first came out was that you felt like the way they changed her design, she was just like flawed in a way, right?
Yeah, I still think she's flawed. I think she's flawed right now. 100%.
Okay. Okay. Because where I was kind of going with this is like I wasn't sure how you felt about it now, because I from like your recent tweets like the last like month or so, I felt like you were starting to feel like based on things you were discovering that maybe she's more complete than you gave her credit for when Rev 2 first came out. And so what I was gonna ask is like, what does that like mean, like if you like step back and look at like, you know, tier lists and stuff like that, because this is what always intrigues me about tier lists. It's like I hate tier lists. I absolutely hate them, because it's like the character can do what it can do, like in theory, but it's like when you make a tier list, you're just basing the tier list on what you know about the character at that time. And it's like, what is even the point of that? Like, I mean, I guess I understand the point, but it's like, it doesn't mean anything to me. Like, the character can do X, you know what I mean? Like, it's like the potential, the theoretical potential, you know what I mean? So it's just like, what is even the point of like discussing, you know, or like, it's like either play the character or don't. Like either like the character can like do what you want it to do, or it can't, you know what I mean? But it's like, I don't know. I don't know how to like, I don't know how to
ask the question. So is it like, are you trying to ask me based off like what Milia is right now, how I feel about tier lists, or?
No, like I guess my question is like, based on how you feel about Milia now, like what do you think of what you thought of her before? You know what I mean? Like, do you look back and go like, I was kind of like off base on that, like I didn't really like get it, you know what I mean? I didn't know she could do X, Y, and Z, and like now that I know that, she's like way better than I thought. Like, even granted, like she's still not as good as you might want her to be, but it's like, you know, like I thought she was just unplayable, and now I realize like, oh, actually, like now that we've discovered X, she's actually kind of good.
So for me, I have been placed in this situation many times, many times. So in her case, do I feel better about her than when she came out? Yeah. There's also the thing, like, you gotta realize, like, Arxis does this a lot too, and it bothers me as a competitor, not like as a consumer, I guess, that they like releasing patches like 3 or 4 months before Evo. I usually play really technical characters and I make big changes, and it bothers me as a competitor. Like, especially in Milia's case, I played the same version of Milia for like 2 years, and now there's like this big change and combo breakers in 3 weeks and COs in 5, whatever. So do I feel better about her? Yeah. My core complaints still, I guess not complaints, I think frustrations, but my core frustrations are still the same as back then. My core, and it's probably that I feel like people don't care about getting hit, and the opponent has way too much influence on her match flow compared to other characters. And just to say what I mean by match flow, it's just like, to make it an easy, like, one sentence, it's like, imagine if Johnny's comboing you, and you burst Johnny, and a fucking wallet fell with all his coins, and you have to go run over against that's what it feels like. That's what it feels like when someone bursts pin. Like, all of a sudden, I literally can't, and Zidane said it's the best way, like, a few months ago, he's like, sometimes Milia can't be Milia, and that's why I'm not having fun sometimes.
Yeah.
And those are probably my 2 biggest frustrations in this version. So a lot of the things I try to find, it's not find, like, I'm not like, oh, I'm gonna find this. It's more like, I have an idea of a problem I want to solve. So a lot of the problems I have in my head are all about those 2 core things. It's always like, what can I do to stop the opponent from fucking up my match flow like that? And what can I do to get them to care about getting hit? It's those 2 things.
Yeah. I mean, I have a couple of problems with my character, but
I've been in this situation a lot. Like, Lychee's probably the big one. Lychee's the big one. CS1, I played Lychee as a BBCT, and from BBCT to BBCS, I was like, hey, you know what would be cool? Lychee is pretty good, but she's like A plus. Like, she's pretty good, but that game had like triple S tiers for reference, right? So I'm like, she's pretty good, but you know, she got like this kind of cancel here, and like if she could do this, it should be really good. So Arxis decided to give her that stuff and a bunch of other shit she didn't fucking need, and then she was like one of the best characters. When CS2 came out, people were like, oh, there's no way he could hang. Like, they nerfed the fuck out this character a lot, and I was bothered too, but I discovered, hey, you know, these things exist, and she's actually way better than everyone thinks she is, and then she ended up being top 5. Like, that thing has happened. And the alternative perspective is when I thought Milia was buffed overall, and the Rev 2 came out, and then it was, my expectations were not met, to say the least. Right? So I've been in that situation many times. So I'm just kind of familiar with it. It ends up being like, are my core, so like if your character changes a lot and you're frustrated with it, the thing that, because by the way, I definitely would have switched off Milia if I didn't think something could be done, right? I would have just switched to fucking Sin or Johnny or Alpha or something and just been done with it. But what usually I like to give the characters time, because it's not about even finding tech. Because there's a case with, I'm gonna use Lychee again as an example. I switched off Lychee when they buffed her. They actually buffed her like crazy one version. So they top tier CS1. They changed her in CS2, but she was top 5, and they nerfed her again. But I still played her through that version. But then the version after that, they buffed her. She was like top 3, and that was the version that made me it drove me crazy. I hated the changes, but even though she was better, I hated changes. Switch, right? So the main thing that's important to me when they do that type of change is what happens to my core frustrations a couple months out. Because initially, I mean, what are you gonna do? Like, shit's just different. Shit's just different. Soul's the same. Your shit's way different. You just gotta deal. But if like a few months out, if some things frustrate you a certain way, and it's either you don't feel like it could be addressed, or something can't be done, or something, then it's like you either keep trying to look or you switch. Honestly.
Yeah.
That's true. That is true. I mean,
I don't know if that answered your question.
Yeah, I mean, my question was kind of all over the place. I still don't even know that I phrased it correct. That your answer was definitely in the vein of what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming the moral story is Milia is good, just unstable.
She's very unstable. So here's the hot take: if a Milia player wins a major, she outplayed everybody. Clip that. I don't give a fuck. I know some European guys really angry.
Hit the button real quick.
I don't give a fuck. If a Milia player wins a major, you all got outplayed. Everyone got outplayed. I don't care how mad you are. I don't care if you call me a bitch. I don't care. Call me a bitch in your private chat. You got outplayed if a Milia player wins a major. The opponent has so much control over what her match flow compared to other characters. She is affected the most, more than any character right now, in my opinion.
Dude, that's true for Venom too. If Venom wins a major, you got outplayed. I'm sorry, because this came up in our local session once, like because like some of the like newer players or like mid-level players are like, yo, Venom is so cheap, dude. And then like some of the other like old school players had to be like, yo, like you need to like step back and like look at this for a second and like ask yourself, what is so cheap about Venom? Because all he's doing is countering what you're doing.
Yeah.
Oh, but I can say that for Sin. So, as you saying, if Sin wins a major, he outplays everybody?
I don't know about that.
Sin has a special skill. I'm gonna say this. Sin has a special skill in this game. Sin is really good at beating. His degeneracy is that he beats degenerates. So everyone who doesn't like Sin, they all play degenerate characters. Raven players don't like Sin. Alpha players don't like Sin. Johnny players don't like Sin. I like Sin. I like Sin a lot.
I like how you said I like Sin.
I like Sin a lot. I love Sin. I love Sin.
You actually have a good
I like Sin.
I don't know that I would say I like fighting Sin, but I definitely like fighting Sin a lot more than a lot of the other characters.
Yeah, chick players don't like Sin. Look at all the people who don't like Sin.
I mean, Venom's not a degenerate, so yeah.
Sin has a very specific power, and it's beating degeneracy with his degeneracy. That's why people don't like Sin. That's why I wouldn't say so quickly that, like an ideal, like think about this, like an ideal Sin top 8 is like a bunch of chips and ravens and shit. He's like, oh, sick.
Yeah,
that
That sounds fucking
Yeah,
awful.
that sounds fucking.
Holy
most people are like,
I know you're gonna run it. I know you're gonna run into the 6P, bro.
So that's what I'm saying.
Let's get this optimized 400 damage. Let's get this going.
Is Sin winning something big in this version? Does it mean something? Yeah, but it's not the same as like if a like imagine if you bursted Sin and you just had no calories. Like you had to eat as soon as you bursted because you had no calories. That is the game that Amelia has to play right now.
I mean, that does happen occasionally. That does happen every now and then.
You know, it sucks. It happens more in this patch more than anything now. So like Sin, I sure I hit something, the multi stab.
Yeah.
If you get hit by that, you could burst at like near the end,
and it actually hit him.
Yeah, because it's still moving forward through the burst.
Oh.
Tech.
So you time it like kind of towards the end, so that he's like finishing as your burst is actually like hitting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm stuck at rare calories actually.
Yeah, because that move uses like a shitload of calories, right?
6,000.
Wow. Tech.
I'm gonna write that down.
That happens to a lot of characters. You know another character that struggles with that? The fucking Zato.
You know
Zato. There are combos where you can burst Zato and Eddie, and then Zato has no fucking Eddie, and you just air dash YRC at him, and then what does he do?
Yeah,
and that's exactly what you could do to Sin. You know, I hate those players. You know? I hate those players with a passion, and whoever's out there being smart, if you can hear this, I'm never playing you ever again. Good luck with your endeavors. I see all the chips in top 8. I hope they take your ass out. But look, honestly though, like, should I like go ahead and be like, yeah, man, I'll play all your degeneracy. Your degenerate is not good. Get degenerate. You know.
No, you get to say shit like you get to say real fire shit. But the best part about playing a character that beats degenerates, because I did that too. Like
I love it.
Mitsudu specifically beats degenerates. The best thing you can say is you have to play the real game against me, and they get so mad. That's the mindset. Angry.
That's what I be telling people. I'm like, nah, you gonna have to play this neutral. Like you can't just, like do whatever you want. You gonna play the ground game. You gonna learn the ground game right now.
You gotta play me. You gotta play me for real.
You gotta play
they get
you gotta play the ground.
So fucking angry at you. They're just like, what?
Yeah. LOL. What did you just tell me?
It's amazing.
Play Guilty Gear.
There is one person. There's someone who I will not name, but maybe from my perspective, no hard feelings, buddy. But from his perspective, maybe he got over it. He like hated me as a person. Because I used to hate on his character. I was like, Shadow Lab versus for scrubs. All you do is mash DP into unblockable setups. You lose and you burst into hyper armor. Do you think you're fucking good at this game? He's like, fuck you, man. I'm trying really hard. He's like yelling at me. And I played him in tournament. I played him online. I beat him. I'm like, you gotta learn how to play the game. Go beat me, motherfucker. I play against some shit. I play against Banana Ken is like the Majin of fucking Shadow Labbers players. I play against DP unblockable all the time. You gotta fucking play me. You gotta play, and he fucking hated it. He hated it. Shadow Labbers players like, why do you hate on her so much? And I was just like, nope, no. It's a great feeling. I know how you feel because he's a great feeling. It's a great feeling.
Yeah, it's an amazing feeling. Like when you feel that they trying to like not play the game with you anymore, it's like, all right, I got something for you. All right, pull back.
It's so funny because the way you're describing it, I was like thinking to myself like, I know what they're describing, but why can't I think of like where do I know that feeling from? Because I don't play any characters like that in fighting games, and I realized it's completely off topic. Yeah, I play Magic the Gathering also, fun on the side.
I used to play Magic too, bro. Did you play the blue deck?
No.
The blue deck. He said the blue deck.
I play a bunch of different shit, but like my favorite decks are the ones that beat the degenerate decks that are trying to not play the game.
Yeah, like the slivers and stuff like that.
No, like Dredge. It's like,
yeah.
Like, I'm straight up just not trying to play the game. It's like no. Yeah, I got this card out of my sideboard, and you don't get to play anymore.
Yeah,
it's the best feeling ever. It is the best feeling ever.
Bro, I'm sorry, but I have to talk about Magic a little bit. So I am a green deck enthusiast. I am a WoW speaker.
All right,
I love Guruk. Guruk is my boy. But one thing I hated the most is the deck that didn't have to play the game was the goblins at one point. I hated the goblins. I hated that. I hated that +1 with lifelink. If it gets like what I think, if it gets 10 life, it becomes a 5/5 with flyer and lifelink. You remember that card?
Yeah,
I hated it. That was a card that did not have to play Magic because they had cards that when you they had like a little enhancement where every time you draw you get 2 life or 1 life. I forgot what the name of it. So if you had that 1/1 out and then you had that. Like literally right off the bat, if 5 turns go by, you're a 5/5 with flyer, and there was no card, unless turn 4 that can actually stop that card. It was so broken.
Yeah, so I play Modern mostly, and there's a lot of decks in Modern that just like try to not play the game in various ways.
Yeah,
and it is just the best fucking feeling. Like they're legit trying to play a 1-player game. They are not trying to interact with you. They are not trying to do like anything to stop what you're doing. They're just doing their own thing, and they're just gonna combo off. And that is my favorite thing in the world.
So I can flip it. I could flip this. It's definitely very like massive off topic, but I quit a trading card game because it was too degenerate. I quit it. I quit.
Which one?
It was Yu-Gi-Oh. It was before I played fighting games. I played Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh was too degenerate.
It was too degenerate. I had a deck designed to beat degeneracy, but it couldn't beat the #1 degenerate deck at the time, so I would always get to end. What?
Which one was that?
I played low level control, so it's all like weak monsters and like, oh, you can't do this if this is too high and stuff. And then I played that 1500 or less attack.
Or less,
very controlling, and then it doesn't matter. At the end, it doesn't matter.
You played that continuous spell card. What was it, Messenger of the Peace?
Yep.
Like that?
Yeah.
You was a scrub.
Yeah. No, I'm not a scrub. It was a very well constructed deck. It was a very well constructed deck, but at the end of a tournament, it doesn't matter. At the end of the tournament, it never mattered.
Wall of Villain Light.
I swore off trading card. I don't play Shadowverse. I don't play Hearthstone. I don't play any of that nonsense. I'm done with trading card games for life. Just done. Get me out. It was too much. I was 12. Like, how are you gonna leave a tournament when you're 12 crying? That's fucked up. That's how you know you gotta stop. That's how you know you gotta stop. You're fucking done.
All I'll say.
I can just imagine is like, okay, but like, you know, you activated my trap card, Messenger in the Peace, can't attack because all your monsters are too godlike. Get good.
Dude, Yu-Gi-Oh, like. I don't know about Magic, but because Yu-Gi-Oh had the show, people would like do Yu-Gi-Oh shit in tournaments, like shuffle the decks. That way, it's totally impractical to shuffle a deck like that. But you fucking learn how to do it. Yeah. That game. I'm done with card games for life. Still, I'm not letting my kids play card games. Fuck that.
That's great. Like card game. I think Magic is pretty good right now, right?
This is supposed to be Ryan Hunter question time for the stream.
My bad.
I don't feel that bad though.
You prepare for us though. You was like, this is gonna go like pretty long. So
for sure.
You foreseen the future, dude.
For sure.
Okay, let's scroll up. Let's try to look for some questions. Let me look for one. I remember I seen one, but I was like, and then we're about to scroll up, and we're gonna bring it back real quick. We're gonna bring it back. Something about Ryan Hunter's weakness. I remember.
Ryan Hunter's weakness.
Yeah, like what for your character weakness. What annoys your character's weakness?
Say that again. What is it?
Like what? I'm trying to look for it particularly, but I remember it was like something about character weakness. Let me bring it up. What minor weakness about your main irritates you the most? I guess a question for all of us.
Minor weakness of my character. I mean, I think that's like an important thing though, is that like you have to be like, every character has a weakness, right? That's like, if the character didn't have a weakness, then they would be.
Well, to be honest with you, so at one point, Finn did not have a weakness. At one point.
We're talking about now though.
Yeah.
For now, he definitely.
But so I think it's like, it's important that like whatever character you pick to be your main, you have to be comfortable with the weakness. You have to acknowledge it and be like, I acknowledge that this is like the weakness of my character, and be okay with that. So to be honest, like I really don't have any problems with Venom's weaknesses. Like obviously his main weakness is that his defense is shit, right? Like he has no reversals. Like he has a really good dead angle, and obviously he needs that because he has no other options. But like that like I think probably if you ask Venom players like what's your biggest problem with the character, they would say defense, but I like embraced that, and that's like part of like why my defense is above average, I think, because I've been playing Venom for like 10 years, and like I was forced to play defense. So honestly, like Venom's weaknesses like don't really. I guess the only one that annoys me to some degree, which actually ironically I've been trying to fix that lately, is not being able to punish stupid shit hard enough. That actually does annoy me now that I think about it. like people will like do something and it's like, great, I got a 2S. It's like, and actually going back to Slayer, that's the problem with the Slayer matchup. Is like,
it's a punish,
okay, cool.
Punish, right?
Yeah, it's like, okay, cool. I beat a K Mappa -6, great. What do I get? 2S. Awesome. Let me tell you how much that's going to discourage him from doing K Mappa literally the entire round. I have to IB it to get like 50 damage. Okay.
Yeah. Take that, Slayer.
Take that.
Yeah, exactly. So that actually, now that I think about it more, that does aggravate me. But again, that I knew what I was signing up for with the character, and I've been working on fixing that by using like 2S RC more to punish things, to try to like discourage those kind of things. So.
We have another question that I wanted to ask. Do you think Guilty Gear is really good for beginner players?
Yeah. I mean, I think we talked about that a little bit already, right? I definitely do. Yeah. It's like LK said it. If you pick the right character.
Or new to fighting games. Excuse me, my bad. New to fighting games.
Even that,
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Like you might want to like talk to some people about your character choice, because, you know, if you pick certain characters, you just have to be aware of what you're signing up for. It's kind of tailing off the last. I
agree with that. I strongly agree with that.
It like kind of goes off the last question. Like, you have to kind of know what the character is going to be like that you intend to play, and know, like, you got to be careful not to develop bad habits. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you're playing, you know, X character and he's susceptible to like being scrubby in X way. Don't fall into that trap, and then you're good. Yep. So.
We got another one. What character do you think succeeds best at low level in GG? I already have a character already. Like
probably Raven or Leo, right?
Those are the two I was gonna say. And again, the first one that came to my mind was Leo, but I think it's just like Leo's been around longer, so like Raven doesn't pop into my head. But yeah, for sure, those are the two. Yeah. I've talked about this before. I think Leo, and I don't want to like trigger like Leo players, you know, with the whole like Leo is bad meme and like all that kind of shit. But like, I've talked about this before. I think Leo is just like bad character design. Like, I
agree.
Wait, why? I'm curious.
Oh,
I don't think so.
Okay, without going like too deep into this, it's like in the old Guilty Gears, like you played Accent Core with like 99% consistency, or not consistency, with like 99% like what I'm about to say is like true. There's like 1% exception. You could like block your way out of like anything in the game. You just like block and like the pressure will end. Like they have to like create a like legitimate gap to like restart their pressure, right? Whereas it's like Leo, if you hold down back, right? He will block string you forever. He can do block strings that are just plus forever. You have to IB, and you have to faultless, and you have to know when to do which one to the right moves.
But there are characters like that right now, though. Slayer is that. Slayer is that same thing. No, Slayer is like, if you don't know...
No, he's not. What block string can Slayer do?
Okay, so I basically like... I kind of like split characters up by their win conditions, and I put like Leo and Slayer as the same win condition. Honestly, they beat you by like enforcing threat on their offense, like their rush down offense. I think that's how Slayer actually wins. Slayer doesn't really beat you with mix-ups, right? And Leo doesn't really beat you with mix-ups either. They both establish threat in their offense, and they try to like get you to do the wrong thing, get a counter hit, and do like way too much damage, and then do it again.
Yeah, but the difference is like, here's the difference though. If you get knocked down by Slayer, and he goes for a mix-up, and you block it, after like 1 or 2 or 3 attacks, there's like a like concrete point where his pressure like drops off, right? Like he does under pressure. It's late. It's like boom right there. Like there's like an opportunity for you to do something, right? Whereas like Leo, if you just block his pressure, he can just make you block forever.
I feel the same about Leo. Like I feel like there's points versus Leo where it's like this thing is obvious and this is the thing you should do.
Yeah, but by only blocking, or are you talking about IBing or faultlessing? I'm talking about only blocking. So normal blocking.
You can block it. If you just block versus Slayer, he's gonna keep moving forward.
You gotta keep in mind.
Because my point is just simply that it's bad design because newer players, like, they're not learning how to IB and faultless early. Like that is an acquired skill. Like that is an advanced skill. So to like expect that the person can do that on defense to stop this character's offense, I feel like is asking way too much of a new player. And that's what enables Leo to just like run over new players, because defense is so hard in Guilty Gear. Like there's so many defensive options. So it's just like in old Guilty Gears, like if you just like blocked everything and you didn't IB and you didn't faultless, you were still like okay like 99% of the time. Like you would still like be able to get out of pressure and like fight back. Whereas like Leo, that just like does not work. You just like cannot do that.
Yeah, so. My perspective of why I think like Leo like design is really terrible is because I really feel like his whole game plan is very unstable. But and I think like damage is the only thing that's actually keeping him like relevant, right? And like new combo routes, right? But I think like as a tool, like his tool set, like I really feel like it's just very, very like gambling. Like I feel like it's a gamble. And I feel like him and Slayer is kind of like in that same like category. It's just like it's a just do it and don't think about like the consequences. But the moment you get that one opportunity, make it count. Like I honestly feel like if you're playing, like if you're on point, those characters would always lose. Always lose.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
If you're
agree 100%.
Yeah, they will always lose. But if you're like 99%, that 1% can actually make you lose the game.
Yep.
And those are the kind of characters.
Could
like,
not agree more.
Yeah, those are the kind of characters that I feel like are just very, very like unstable. They thrive on mistake.
Yep, and that's also why I will never not be salty about Slayer. Like I don't care what people say. Like you want to say he's bad, whatever, because there's no worse feeling than like it's exactly like you said. You do all the right things the entire round. You like IB everything. You punish everything. You like whittle away at him.
Watch me versus Taka.
Yeah, and then you miss one IB or you miss one thing, and he hits you once, and it's like, oh well, he has 100 meter because he hasn't been doing anything all round except moving forward. And I just lost 80% of my life. And
I counter hit. As a Finn player, I counter hit him 10 times, and I still lost a round.
Yeah, because you didn't. You know why? You know why? You know why? You fucked up.
Yeah,
you didn't counter hit him 11 times.
Yeah, I didn't counter hit him 11 times. And when I lost that round, I was so mentally like
demoralized,
exhausted, and demoralized. I was like, wow, what else do I need?
Here's a good question. Here's a good question.
I was like, wow, what else do I need to do?
Someone asked, Jolly Bally asks, what is perfect practice to you and how do you use training mode? That second question is massive, so let's just do the first one.
Okay, what is perfect practice?
Yeah, to you. I guess a better way to look at it is, what is your practice regimen?
Who I think is better? Yeah. I think, before you even jump to that, who's the better character? Obviously, a Slayer, free. That's not an argument. Free.
I agree with that.
Free.
Oh, wow.
Free.
I think they're like the same-ish.
You think so? At least Slayer has like really like stable Oki, right?
Leo sort of though. Leo sort of.
He's literally in back turn.
Yeah, that's dangerous. That's dangerous, you know?
Yeah, that's always dangerous. Slayer is just sitting in there, he don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Like, go ahead, jump on.
Yeah, perfect practice. Well, the way I practice, and we actually like talked about this a little bit earlier, is like I go into my casual sessions with like a specific goal in mind of like something that I'm trying to work on. And I mean, I've said this like a million times. It's not a new idea. It's like when you're playing casuals, you should not necessarily be playing to win. Like I don't think ever, honestly. Like I could see an argument for like every now and then to like practice being in like tournament mode. That's like legit. I get that, but like in general, when you're trying to improve, you should winning or losing should mean nothing to you. That means nothing. You should have a goal in mind. I want to practice doing X. You need to recognize like, you know what, like last session I was getting jumped in on a lot. I should probably like focus on anti-airs a little bit, and then like legit like round one start and just sit there and go anti-air for the jump, anti-air. Like don't pay attention to anything else in the whole round. Focus on your one objective. and you'll see in like an hour of doing that, it'll start to become second nature, and you won't have to think about it anymore, and then you just move on to the next thing.
Yep. Kind of like, you know, sometimes I have objectives like, all right, my objective is to air throw this guy every time as an anti-air. So I know when to choose 6P anti-air, right? Or jump air throw.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Kizzy, what do you do? What's your training regimen? You might as well just go through all of us. That's a kind of decent question.
So if I have a problem with a situation, right? Well, I'm not. That's too specific. All right, my general is like, okay, I know that I got hit like this a lot of times. So what I want to do is put myself in this scenario and practice on evading, or practice on defending, or practice on like, okay, like I know that I get in a habit of like doing this. Okay, let me like mix this up, right? Or like let me like it's a lot of neutral like practice that I do, or like defending practice, because we all know that offense is easier than everything, right?
Yes.
Out of neutral, so we don't really have to practice that. What we need to practice is like, well, I feel like what I need to practice is like defensive options, neutral options, awareness, situations. When can I evade? When do I have to just sit still? A lot of ways of like mixing up my defensive options, because you don't want to rely on one defensive option. You want to rely on multiple, right? You want to have layers like set up. So I set up layers. I really like I'm very like militant on like evading scenarios and choosing options and stuff like that. So that's my perfect practice. It's literally practicing like neutral, very like neutral based decision making and defense.
So. Yeah, I see. Yeah, I'm pretty similar to you guys. Like I pretty much just look at, I don't know if you guys feel the same. Like fighting games to me is just like problem solving. So it's just, I usually have like a problem in mind, and I try to. So it comes from like. The reason why I play like not super long sets is because like first to 5, first to 7, first to 10 sets is usually because it's just long enough that the other person can adapt, and short enough that I'll actually fucking watch all the games after. And I can go into those games, watch them, and see what I thought I did well, what I thought I didn't do well, and then we go break down like, okay, is this something like, is it like I don't have a good enough setup to deal with this situation, or am I getting out footsied a lot, or am I picking the wrong anti-airs, and I just pick out specific problems and I try to solve them, and you just do that XN, and eventually you'll have less and less and less and less problems until you get to the actual core. Like it would take somebody who's highly competent to actually present problems to me, because if not, I literally have all the answers, unless you're highly competent and you're literally forcing your problems, like your character's core strengths, on me, and then I mean you can't do much about that unless your character's broken, right?
Unless you're
there's not much you can do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it is.
And I think it's worth mentioning, like, because we all kind of said like the same thing, is that this is like the skill that is required to be able to practice that way is self-reflection, right? You have to be able to like analyze yourself and figure out, where are my weaknesses, what is my biggest weakness, so that you know, like, okay, you know what, like this is like a glaring hole that I've just identified in my gameplay. If I can shore this weakness up, I can improve my win percentage by like 3%, 5%, something like drastic like that, you know? So it's like, I think a lot of new players like don't put enough stock in that like it's really important to like reflect, watch your own matches, and like try to identify like where's the biggest area I can improve in, and then focus on that one thing, and then the next thing.
Yep, and somebody asked a really good question. It's like, how does one consciously practice situational awareness?
You know that feeling where you lose and your stomach feels really shitty, and then you gotta go to the bathroom? So anytime you feel like that, you probably should watch the game. I don't
know if you guys ever get this feeling. It's like, man, like I'm really getting hit by this a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's something like that. Like when you know that you're getting like somebody something is being abused towards you, you really need to go figure that out. If you feel like, man, this thing is annoying, like if this particular thing is very annoying, then that's how you practice situational awareness, right? It even works for normals, right? Say for example, like, man, Sin's far S is mad annoying. Like I can't do anything about it. Far S this, far S that. Wake up in the morning, far S.
Wake up in the morning.
Yeah, it's just far S, right? the way to like fix that, it's like, okay, what range can I sit in where this move doesn't hit me, right? And like if you figure that out, it's like, okay, so now he's using another normal beat driver. So now you condition him to not use far S anymore. So now he's using beat driver. So now you're able to like play around different normals now because far S is not only the only option.
Right. So now you have more freedom to like do
more freedom. Yeah.
You can go back to doing some of the things that beat that lost the far side you can do now.
Exactly. Because now beat driver has more recovery. You're able to like kind of like bet a jump in, or like, you know, like a jump in, or like, okay, like I got a good read, he's gonna do beat driver, come sit in beat driver race, I'm gonna go for a jump. And then now it's like, okay, so now the guy's like, okay, I can't use beat driver anymore. So now he has to run up for it. Right. Now he's overextending. And now that one little thing that you did opened up millions of opportunity for your character to capitalize on overextending. And that's how you learn situational awareness. It's like you look at a problem and you find solutions to solve it. And whether that they chose a different option to solve what you're doing means that what you're doing is right. Now you have to open the other opportunity, you know? And that's why fighting games are so amazing, because there's always a solution for, you know, some answers, right?
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Well, a well-designed game, I would say. A well-designed game, there's an answer for everything, right? So
exactly.
Okay, it's fucking 10:40. You've been here for like 3 hours.
I mean, honestly, I feel like this is pretty good. This is pretty good.
You're in here for a long haul.
Yeah, we didn't want to hold you up too long.
Nah, I'm good, man.
Yeah,
this is fun. So I love talking about this kind of stuff. So
great, good job, man.
Good.
It was mad fun. Thanks for coming on. Tell people where they can follow you if you want that. Actually,
I mean, Twitter, OS Ryan Hunter. That's me.
Yep.
Option select
Ryan Hunter. Give the man a follow. He's doing all the commentary that you love. You did top 8 Guilty Gear multiple times, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Fucking champion us.
Using the suit and the tie, you know. Now everybody had those opportunities, bro.
Yeah. It's funny, actually. Just one last note. You know, DBZ's coming out in a couple months. We were just talking about how everyone's fighting. You know, they all want to commentate DBZ, like all the people from the different communities. And I said, you know, there's no one more qualified than me. I'm convinced in the entire FGC. I have everything on my resume. Top 8s in Marvel, top 8s in anime games. I've watched all of Dragon Ball Z.
I watched all of Dragon Ball Z.
Come on, dude.
Like, who's got this? Who's got this?
Yeah.
You know, an interesting thing I saw on Twitter before you go, like, Manny. So, like, let's say TSB. Let's call it TSB for Manny, and then House of Crack Bum. They were like, oh, we're gonna do TSB versus House of Crack and DBZ. So my secret plan is I'm gonna DM Bum and be like, yo, let me be on your team. And play just secrets quietly, even though I'm telling everybody, but just quietly slip on that team and make it like surprise, like we got one more person, and I just fucking show up in the back.
Are you gonna be on your little jumpsuit?
Yeah, the future jumpsuit, the shades. Yeah.
There's gonna be a lot of exhibitions for that game. We're trying to do one.
Sure.
We're trying to do one down south also.
I heard that. I saw someone post that. Someone post something like that. That should be pretty good. Give this guy a follow. Give Ryan Hunter a follow. I'm gonna leave the call. Stream, I'll still be here for a little bit. Thanks, Ryan.
No, thank you guys.
You can't see me wave at you, but
we're gonna be out. I'm gonna be heading out too. So you guys stay where you are. Stay put. Don't leave yet.
Okay, be right back. Woo! Damn, that was good, Ryan Hunter. Jesus Christ, that was a fucking. After Hell Pockets was amazing in its own way, but Ryan Hunter in there for the long fucking haul. I guess I gotta change this. What the fuck are you seeing right now? You see the fucking icon? Let's do I have a giant LK webcam scene? Of course I don't, right? Fuck it, let's be lazy. Let's definitely do that. Oh no! Okay, there we go. Yeah. I gotta make sure I have something ready for when like I'm like, bye guys. I fucking forgot about that. Shit, I hope you enjoyed that. Of course, I'm uploading this right now, by the way. It should already be caught up, my YouTube. It should already be up to Hell Pockets, plus the me versus Kizzy talking for like an hour, talking I said like we were playing against each other, talking with each other for like an hour and a half about various things about Guilty Gear and stuff like that. I don't know what to say. Hope you enjoyed it. It was really fun. We got another great guest lined up for you next week, and I'll be back tomorrow, usual time, 1:30 FG homework. Hope you enjoyed it. See you tomorrow. Thank you. Peace out.